You are now listening to the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
My name is DJ Vince Adams. I absolutely appreciate what the Chicago Clubhouse crew is doing for the city of Chicago.
Hey, young world, what's good? It's your boy Bernard Varian, a.k.a. B Twice.
What up? This is Rasheed Davis, former Chicago Bear wide receiver.
Hey, my name is Lemuel Stinson, a.k.a. Lemonade, formerly of the Chicago Bears.
What's up? My name is C.J. Watson, former Bulls guard and bench bomb creator.
This is two-time six-man all-star baller Ricky Deuces Pierce.
What's up, people? This is Chicago radio legend Rick Party, the voice you hear everywhere.
My name is Pee-wee from the movie House Party.
This is Megan Martinez from the Good and Funny podcast.
Hey, this is Bubba Ball from the Shits podcast.
Hey, this is Nika from One Shot Wellness, repping from the ATL, dropping some drips on that Chi-Town Clubhouse podcast.
This is Sherry, and you're rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
You are now rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
You're now rocking with Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
And you're rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
And you're rocking with the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
Where they think they know everything.
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 But they don't know shit.
But they don't know shit.
But they don't know shit. But they really don't know shit.
But they really don't know shit.
But they really don't know shit.
But honestly, they don't know shit.
Hey, man, I smell something. I smell podcast. The Chicago Clubhouse Podcast Show.
They really don't know shit.
You already know what time it is.
You see this Eddie Jackson jersey right here? Take this.
This dude literally just took my soul.
So I didn't like playing with Brett Favre at all.
You could have waited until the draft if you wanted to look at another quarterback. You didn't have to sign Andy Dalton, who is really nothing but a backup.
Evander Holyfield is 58 years old. What you want to fight a 58-year-old man?
But man, he wants to keep fighting.
Because he want to fight him.
Yeah.
Okay, it's an exhibition.
But yeah, it's an exhibition because
this ain't Drago and Apollo Creed, man. Ain't nobody about to.
Man, Martin and Tommy Hearns was an exhibition. You saw what happened to Martin.
This could hurt.
Thanks, Hayden. Nothing but the best.
Okay.
All right.
Hey, bro, tough for real, man.
Yeah, man. He like tougher than some grown folks I know, man.
That as a coach, your job is to give your players the best opportunity to have success.
Michael Jordan, when he came back at LeBron James' age, he was a straight up nothing.
That is blasphemy on his computer right now.
I'm gonna tell you something. Without Dennis Rodman, I couldn't see them winning like they did those second three championships. I can't see it.
I agree.
And now I'm the voice of SportsCenter on ESPN. Now on SportsCenter. Tonight, LeBron James. And whatever.
Do you guys really coach how exactly to tackle correctly? Because I see it all over the league now. People cannot tackle like they did whenever you guys played. But do you guys practice tackling at all?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast. Well, we think we know everything, but we really don't know shit. Today we got a nice guest for you, former bench mob player. Get to talk to him, rap with him about some Bulls. We will be talking about some Bulls stuff today. Also about the Bears. They traded a 7th round pick for a former first rounder, so we're gonna see what everyone tends to think about that. We're also gonna dive into a little White Sox and a little Blackhawks. So without further ado, let me go ahead and kick this off. No point of waiting around. Let's start bringing in the members of the Dream Team. First of all, I'd like to bring in the stat man who knows all the stats from the 80s and the 90s, 2000s as well. My man, JB. Is he ready? Are you ready?
Are you ready? Are you there? Are you there?
Yeah.
Hey, no superhero music today, man. Just we just gonna get into it. Make sure that we talk some real Bulls talk because we got something going on, something brewing today, and like you said, talk about little Bears, man. I'm kind of not happy, but we're gonna kick it off and stay positive, and I'll let you know why in a minute.
So you kind of not happy, huh? Hey, man, at this particular point in time, it is what it is with these Chicago sports teams. It's not looking good, So Bullets, my man, what's going on? Man, you in here early today, Bullets.
My man, Bullets, good to see you.
Yeah, I'm not really feeling these Chicago teams this year so far, man. It is looking terrible from my White Sox to I don't know what the fuck the Bulls are doing. We already know the Bears in rebuild mode, and Frank is gonna have something special for all you Blackhawks fans out there today. So, it is what it is. But without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on the rookie of the team, the rookie of the All-Star team. I was the rookie, no longer the rookie now. My man, Frank the Tank.
What's up, everyone? Don't worry, JB, I got you covered. Hold on.
You got my man.
Let's get this going.
Come on, oh, baby, don't you want to go? Come on, oh, baby, don't you want?
We all know the rest.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, we all know the rest, huh?
We all know the rest.
Yeah, man, it's not looking good in the land of the city of broad shoulders, man.
Yeah, it is. It's something. That's for sure. It's definitely something.
So I want to dive right into it, man, because it's ever since I saw the news, I'm just looking like, what are we really doing? Like, what is going on in Hallis Hall right now? Because something just doesn't sit right with me, fellas. When you sit up here and you say to the media, to the fandom, right? Wow, we got a former first-round pick that didn't cut it with Bill Belichick. Like,
Bill Belichick can be a dick.
Yeah, but he's kind of like the most impressive and winningest one ever. So, it's like, I'm not impressed. It's almost like saying, what? Did this guy like underachieve or something? Like, why is he not with Belichick?
Well, like you said, Bill Belichick can be a dick.
Okay, and fair enough. But when he does this and it's real shiny, I kind of want to listen to that guy. So giving up a 7th-round pick for a former first round, I mean, hell, we had a couple of former first rounds that didn't pan out. How did Kevin White
pay? Mark, what up?
And we still reeling from that. But to get a guy like that, what does that say internally about what's going on in Hallis Hall? Is that saying that we just didn't have enough, or is that a cover-up for the man DJ Moore? Not DJ. Is it DJ Moore? Not DJ Moore. What is his name? It just got arrested.
Oh, crap.
David Moore, some shit like that.
Yeah, it's a Moore. I'm pretty sure it's a Moore.
No, it's a Moore.
There's more of that going around.
So I'm wondering, like, is that because right now, what do we have to hang our hats on, right? Free agency, couple guys here and there, nothing to really hang our hats on. Development of Justin Fields is something that he said that he should have said, and then 3 arrests. Like, that's all we really have to talk about this summer. So I'm not happy that this Bears brass right now is like, we have to get N'Keal Henry, and that's going to be our salvation. That's going to.
I don't even think it's going to be a salvation. I think it was more so of a need because we needed a big target wide receiver. We've been talking about it. I've been talking about it for the longest.
Speed too.
That we needed a receiver that got some type of height, some type of bulk to him because we really haven't had that. We got a team full of short guys right now. And we know in the NFL, you do need some big wide receivers. You ain't going to be able to get it done with a team full of short guys.
So, and I thought about that, which made me think about you. How does that make you feel about St. Brown? Because St. Brown was our 6'5" for a 40 guy, go get a guy.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is this.
You're gonna have depth, man.
Yeah, I mean, if he goes down, who you got?
See, I feel like, and I understand where you're coming from.
You ain't got nobody. He go down.
It'll definitely be interesting, that's for sure. But I don't think it's hurting us at all because I mean it's a 7th round pick. It's not like they traded a 3rd or a 4th or even worse than that. But I'm like at that thing where I mean I've heard from a lot of people Belichick is a dick. He really is. And if you think about it, what quarterback has this guy had since he's been here? Cam Newton and Mac Jones. None of them could complete passes past 3 yards.
Is he a 3rd-year guy though?
He's 3rd year. Yeah, this is last year of his rookie contract, unless somebody picks it up.
So he didn't have a lot of
1 year. Got him for 1 year. It's not going to hurt us.
Right. Well, no, I didn't know. I wasn't saying it like it was going to hurt us, but it was just like, there's a couple of other guys out there that I would have liked to kick the tires on. That could have, probably signed here for a little less. But to give that, like that name just isn't like, oh man, yeah. It's like
you're not wrong. Yeah,
you're not looking for that. I mean, you gave up a 7th-round pick for a guy that was
no. That's the thing. Right now, we need one of those guys on the team that's like, oh man, we finally got a name, just to build the morale of not only the team but the fandom. Because think about it. I'm not saying this is who we should get, but could
we got a question for you right here, JB?
Okay, let's get it. And Walker, hey, what's happening, brother? That is a great question. Why not have multiple options as we should? Pats essentially did a salary dump. Harry also
he didn't really make too much money.
No, and that's the thing. I'm not looking at it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I hate this move. I'm just saying there were other moves out there that we could have made because no matter what we say on our show, other shows, when you look at the Bears brass right now, the moves they are making are really not putting Justin in a position to be a top 15 quarterback right now.
No.
And that's the thing that that makes me very fearful because now you're hanging your hat on the development of Justin Fields, but you're not giving him any weapons. It's like you're saying cook this gourmet dinner, but you're not giving them any seasonings. You're not giving them any sides. It's like, what are we doing? Like at this point, N'Keal Henry's just a guy. Right, Byron Pringle's just a guy. Like he's not giving us. What I was alluding to was
like this: who were you guys really looking to get?
Well, that's the thing. So having a little bit of money left now and holding on to it really doesn't make sense right now. But I'm not saying this is who you. Well, I'm not saying this is who you need to get. But if you didn't get a big splash of one of those veteran free agent linemen, why not ask Julio Jones if he wants to come here for $5 million? At least to galvanize the locker room. Teach these guys something about winning and producing at that level.
Man, I don't know about giving Julio ass 5 years, man. If Julio about
I didn't say 5 years. I said $5 million. 1 year, $5 million.
Well, even $5 million. Julio about done, bro.
I mean,
he's about done. And then on top
Henry's
of
about done? Could you say Pringle's about done?
You just gonna give him. You know what I'm saying? You giving him $5 million, right?
I think
Julio doesn't even play the whole fucking season.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think it's more for like a mentoring type role, even for Justin Fields.
$5 million for a mentor.
But I mean, this is the thing. This guy could be lightning in a bottle that we got from New England. I mean, nobody really knows. I mean, I feel like he's tall. He's got speed. He's got hands. He got put in the doghouse with Bill Belichick because he was calling them out because Mac Jones wasn't throwing the ball past 1 yard, or if he was even throwing the ball at all. So, I mean, this guy couldn't really use any of his talent because Belichick wasn't using him. And, like, if he comes here, and I mean, this is the thing, though. Like, I mean, I'm expecting we're going to pass the ball more than Belichick will. I do feel that way. We will do that.
Well, that depended, too, remember, Frank. Not only was he coming from Cam Newton, who was not able to pass the ball with any type of efficiency anymore due to his injury, but Mac Jones was also a rookie.
Yeah, agreed.
So it's not like I don't want to throw the ball. It's I really can't throw the ball the way I want to.
Yeah. I mean, the biggest question mark with this guy is if he's going to turn out to be a little crybaby. Like that's we don't want him. I mean, the locker room is really young right now as it is. We don't even everybody's pretty much on a 1-year deal. So, I mean, key thing is, I mean, if he's going to hurt the locker room, then he's gone next year. He's gone halfway through the season if that's going to be the case.
That's just what I said. Like, get a veteran in here to, just get a guy in here to at least, like I said, to galvanize that locker room.
So tell me this: we got how much money we got in cap space so far left?
I know I think we have the second most left. What are we at, Frank? Like around 13 or 14 left?
I think it's a little less than that, actually. I think it's around like after this trade right now, because he is getting paid first round money. So, okay. I mean, I believe last time I saw it, it was at like 12.6, 12.5. And that was before this trade, though. So it might be a lot lower.
I mean, at the end of the day, you still look at it like this. We got guys. There's still going to be veterans, guys that's going to be cap casualties once this camp or once, the camp starts for these NFL teams. So hopefully somebody release some good players, and maybe therefore we can pick up some guys, particularly offensive line or somebody on the defensive line or an extra linebacker or something like that. I'm not too much worried about it. I mean, all you doing is trying to take a chance on a guy that was a former first rounder and see if you can, like Frank said, get lightning in a bottle. If you do,
seventh round pick for somebody.
If you don't, it was a fucking 7th rounder. Like,
yeah, exactly.
How many 7th rounders actually stick on the NFL roster?
I mean, that could be true, but I mean, when you're looking at the stats for this guy and you see his actual most production was with Cam Newton as his quarterback at that time. Like,
that was his rookie year, though, wasn't it?
It was his second year. So his rookie year, he was with Brady. Okay. But
he didn't see the field that much with Brady in his rookie year, though.
He didn't. But with Cam Newton, he played in 14 games, started 9. With Mac Jones, he played in 12, only started 4. So to me, that's not much of an indictment on Belichick as it is that maybe this kid just
doesn't have it.
Yeah. And like Skylark just said, Frank, I saw you brought up that.
Yeah, I saw.
He stated that maybe that he was going to, be a casualty anyway.
Yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. There's no doubt that could be it. But like how Foulmouth was saying, I was like, we didn't give up much to take this gamble. Like, I mean, this guy could turn into an elite wide receiver for all we know, because he's got all the talent to be an elite wide receiver. And it's not like he's Kevin White. He couldn't stay healthy on the field. He was healthy. It's just him and Bill Belichick didn't gel.
We're assuming that. We don't know that for.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the media world out there could the media world could be blowing this up way more than it's supposed to be. And that's why, like how he was saying, Pat fans hate him. Like, I mean, that could be a reason why, because the media was just blowing it up.
Absolutely. And that also, let's see what they're saying. Oh, he was injured his first year. Okay.
That might be why he didn't see the field that much with Brady.
It could be a Kevin White situation.
He wasn't injured the last 2 years.
That's scary, man. Like,
well, hands down, it'll be scary.
I'm not trying to, be the negative Nancy of the bunch. I'm really not. But it's about time for that front office right now, because we're getting too close to the start of something. And right now, we've got questions on that D line. We've got questions at linebacker. We've got questions at receiver. We've still got questions. Man, I heard that Sam Mustipher was taking reps at right guard. Like, no.
I think they're just trying anything, right?
That's what they're just throwing stuff to the wall to see
exactly. I mean, it's not even officially training camp yet. So
we got another 2 weeks for that, right?
Yeah. So I mean, I guarantee it'll be a lot more structured once training camp comes around.
As I'm hoping it will. But like I said, the lead up to things like this, like when you look at other organizations and you see, I hate to, this is not an apples to apples comparison, but it's apples to oranges and it's still fruit. If you figure a guy like Von Miller could leave a Super Bowl winning team and then just go sign with the Bills. Did the Bills really need Von Miller? Hey, Mom, they made a splash.
Yeah.
Von Miller's a little
they
crazy.
needed him. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But you know how you like to, he's on the old, I mean, not you, but he's on the older side. But a guy like that is going to not only impact you on the field, but he's going to impact that locker room.
Yeah.
We have yet to see. I mean, can we say offensively, our big gun is David Montgomery right now?
Oh, hands down. There's no question about that.
He's our leader.
This was a rebuild.
Well, he's our de facto leader, right? Because right now, I'm assuming Jason Peters is still on the roster, but are we looking for Jason Peters to play, or is he just
Jason
a locker
Peters
room
ain't
guy?
on the roster.
That's a good question.
Then there we go. So Jason Peters was that veteran voice and leadership of the locker room. We don't have that right now. We don't have anybody, a veteran wide receiver to come and tell Justin, hey, man, when you're seeing this is what's really going on. Because remember, you got a rookie head coach, rookie quarterback coach, rookie OC. There's no veteran presence on this team to help galvanize it at all. And that's troubling.
Oh, man, Brandon in the chat. Yes,
Hey, B, what's going on? But I'm saying, like, what you down with CCB? I like that. But seriously, like, doesn't that make you a little bit hesitant? Like, the only thing I'm really, really geeked about right now is that secondary. That's really it. I'm really want to see that secondary, coming to its own, maybe around that second half of the season, because by then scheme should already be down pat. That cover two, we all know that if that offensive line doesn't get the proper pressure to make that quarterback get that ball out just 1 second quicker, you can't cover for 6-7 seconds in the NFL. This ain't that.
But I feel like that secondary is going to be held out to dry if we're not getting pressure on that quarterback.
Jones converting to a 3 technique, that concerns me. That carousel between Mario Edwards, Travis Gibson, Al Kadeen, and Angelo Black, all of that concerns me, man. All of it. Does Morrow come back actually healthy? Is he? Remember, Chris, Parnell McPhee. He came. We got him off a knee injury from Baltimore. He was our big free agent signing at one time.
But his thing was
stay on the field. That's what I'm saying.
He never was a full-time player, and we paid him to be a full-time player.
Yeah, we spent a lot of money on Parnell McPhee.
Yes. What I'm saying is, I'm hoping Morrow is not that type of guy either. I used to like Alan Hearns. I did, Skylar.
Nobody was
the guy we should have looked at. Chris, you talked about him a while back.
Yeah,
Alan Hearns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a bigger guy, about a 4.5 40. I'm thinking great range. Was he Jacksonville?
Alan Hearns. Yeah, and then I think he went somewhere else. I want to say he went somewhere else too. Maybe like a Dallas or something, if I'm not mistaken. I can't really remember.
He actually started with the Ravens?
With the Henry trade, I mean, I like to see if we got something in him.
Yeah,
it's a 7th round.
You have to now because you don't have anything to lose.
I don't think you can really go out and find another wide receiver, at least not a solid one right now, because I don't think the money's there right now to go out and get another wide receiver.
I mean, I think, but the other guys, like I said, I keep mentioning the likes of like a Julio Jones. We know Odell not coming here. We know Landry.
Odell's staying in LA. I mean,
it's just certain It's just certain guys that we know that are free agents that are not coming here. And please, guys, right? I thought Alan Hearns was with the Jags. I thought he was.
Allen Robinson had 1,000 yards too, though. Let's not forget that.
He did, but I'm saying,
I mean, y'all guys rag on Allen Robinson.
I don't have issues with Allen Robinson. I liked him.
I mean, the guy.
I don't rag on him. He's a 100-catch guy.
The guy has never had a quarterback.
I would have liked him to. That last season, I would have liked him to, actually act like he gave it in.
Well, you know something? I think your coach had a lot to do with that too.
He did. I mean,
according from what I'm hearing, he was rubbing a lot of players the wrong way, and guys pretty much checked out on his ass.
So as well as I do, Frank, and you played hockey. When you as a player check out individually, that's different than the team checking out.
Yeah.
So when that team checked out, you're absolutely right. How do you combat that? How do you come back from that? But it's up to Bears brass to show we're no longer doing things that way. We're no longer want to be anywhere associated to what that last regime did.
Yeah,
so go ahead.
I mean, I'll put it to you like this. I'm not judging this new front office yet. It's their first year. They've already gone and made a decision to sit up there and do a rebuild. So to me, they're on the clock, but I'm not really sitting up there expecting fireworks this first year. It's more so to see what they're gonna do next year when they have their draft picks, when they have all this money. That's what I'm willing and want to see then.
Okay,
This
and
year, I look at it as, okay, they're doing whatever it is that they're doing.
He's with the
They're
Dolphins.
gonna let Justin become the leader that they believe that he can be.
Receiving
And they're gonna have a couple receivers on the way. You guys have been clamoring for a big time wide receiver. Maybe they get that guy next year. Whether
Well,
it
if
be
you're gonna get it, it's gonna be
maybe
next
through
year.
free agency, maybe they get some more O-line help. And right now, we're in a part of the year where it's an unknown because we don't know what they're gonna look like. We don't know who's going to start where. They basically they're trying all different types of combinations on the offensive line, so nobody knows what anything is gonna be. Damn sure not with them in the underwear Olympics right now, playing in shorts and fucking jerseys.
So two things, Chris.
Pass on.
Two things, Foulmouth. Two things.
Like for real.
When you look at the money financially, we talked about this before. You're gonna have to pay somebody, and you're gonna have to pay them market value, which means you're probably gonna overpay for whoever the talent is. But next year, with that first round pick, let's say it is in that 8 to 15 range. If you don't have like the next Randy Moss, I don't think this regime is going wide receiver. I'm thinking there are two names I'm looking at. I'm looking at LSU offensive lineman Xavier Hill, and I'm looking at Jaleel Billingsley, former tight end of Alabama, that transferred to Texas now. And Texas is going to have a lot of media on them now because the Manning kid is now going to Texas. Yeah. So watch how his draft stock just rises. And that's a homegrown Chicago kid. That's the name Billingsley. That's one of our good friends' family. Yeah. So with him being in that tight end role, I could see Poles getting that. We may not draft that number one receiver that we looked at.
We might not. You're not right.
I just threw out wide receiver and also threw out offensive lineman as well. So it really depends on what it is that they really want. Like I said, we don't know. We won't know anything until the season happens, until we know who start. Because hell, for all we know, let's just say Braxton Jones or what's my other man's name, Borum or Jenkins or one of them.
Well, one of them gonna have to go.
Left tackle or right.
Somebody's gonna have to go because here you go. There's such a thing as a swing lineman. There's definitely value in a lineman that can play multiple positions, especially on this team, because the only two positions I think are solidified are Lucas Patrick and Cody Whitehead. That's it.
Yeah, but I mean, and the only reason why you know that those are solidified is because those are guys that have gone and played. We haven't seen none of these guys. Tevin Jenkins and Bourne and Braxton Jones, we haven't seen these guys play for real. We really haven't. And damn sure not seen them play with a competent fucking coach. I mean, Jesus Christ. How many times did we sit up there and we watched the Bears last year and they had guys picking up assignments where there's no way in fucking hell they should have been sitting up there trying to block that individual.
Right. You're right. And no chips out the backfield. Yeah.
And his scheme was so fucking incompetent. It didn't make no sense. It was some of the dumbest fucking football I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Agreed.
So until we get that going, until we know exactly what it is that we have, we just on wait and see mode right now.
And that's fine. Look, wait and see is all we can really do. That's where Ant Walker, you on fire tonight because
we are on fire
about Jones and that 3 technique because they had so much of all their findings. They wanted Larry O, but Larry O just didn't pass that physical. We wouldn't even be talking about that.
I would love to have Larry O, man.
But LO would have caused a lot of problems with that 3 technique. But
I don't think it's gonna be Brandon. I don't think they're gonna move on for
Fields is your guy, man. He's gonna be your guy.
Not with a first round pick, maybe in the later round.
I don't think that you do that. You got to actually get this guy probably until his rookie contract runs out to see exactly what it is that you're gonna have in him. If you make a move like that, then there's going to be a lot of angry Bears fans and you're going to bring up racial shit too, because you get rid of a guy after 2 fucking years. You like, okay, he's gone after 2 years. And you gave fucking Mitchell Trubisky how many years?
4 years.
4
Didn't pick
years.
up his spot. I don't think Fields is going anywhere at least till 4 years.
So Poles is adamant about Fields. He definitely is in his corner, right?
Yeah.
But again, I'm just wondering if, and I'm not calling him incompetent at all, but I'm wondering, does he see things only from a lineman perspective? And like, hey, as long as we protect, anybody can get open. That's not true. You have to have talent. It's not always just about a bunch of 5'9" guys running 4.2s. We saw that it does not work.
Well, we know why it doesn't work. Shit, we got the fucking dumbest fucking coach in the NFL probably the last fucking 15 years. Calling plays.
Has it been 15 years with Lovey?
This is the crazy part. He was so fucking arrogant.
He was
fucking arrogant about calling plays. Even when his shit wasn't working, he still didn't want to give it up. And then when he did, he said,
I still don't think he ever gave it up.
Oh, well, everything that he calls, it still runs through me.
Mm-hmm. Well, he said, I still got to agree to the call.
Right.
But
it's
you know,
that's
grandstanding, because anybody that watched that, I think it was 4 to 5 a 4 to 5 game stretch, you could just see that the play calling was different because of the routes. If you really watch football, you can see that their routes were different, and he actually ran the ball a little more. Like Laser did not call curl flat, curl flat.
Oh, please don't fucking curl
flat.
Hey, don't forget the draw. Don't forget the draw now.
No, man. Here's the one. It's 3rd and 1. Wide receiver screen.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's 3rd and 4.
Or it's 4th and 1.
Jakeem Grant comes on the field. You know he's getting the ball.
Yeah.
Right. Oh yeah, and guess who he's got blocking for him? 5'8", 5'9" guys.
Ronnie Brewer.
The only one that was tall blocking for him was Allen Robinson, and they always went to the opposite side. They went to the smaller guys, always.
Fucking genius, Nagy. You're a fucking genius, baby.
Yeah, you did. I don't even know what to say. It's like he literally goes against what he should be doing. Like, do you guys ever see that movie Ready to Rumble? Like based off of WCW, David Arquette was in it and everything.
I did, yes.
Right. They had like a coach in there that said in the hospital when he got beat up, he was like, this is your last lesson. Always attack a man's strengths. And I was like, holy shit, that's Matt Nagy's dad. I said his name. It's like, attack a man's strength. He's like, they won't see it coming. You go towards their strengths. You run it right up the middle. So what does he do? Hey, Aaron Donald's in there. Let's just run right at Aaron Donald and see what happens. Sal Bandini.
Why us, man? Just really, like, we got to break this down, man. Why us? Because now I'm looking at it like this, too. If we, Skylar, good one. We do still have Lovey. You look at other teams, and I'm not even going to talk about the teams up north, right? But let's talk about a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, who some could say defensively, right, eerily similar to what the Bears used to preach.
Yeah.
Strong line play, stronger linebacker play, dope safeties. What is it that we're not doing with either the guys we're hiring or the personnel that we're drafting that we can't get it right, but a team like that has been doing it right basically since day one? Like, doesn't that like kind of like make your blood boil, guys? That it's like,
yeah. Correct me on this though. Like, the Pittsburgh Steelers don't have a lot of big time. They don't have like a 1 or 2 people that take up a huge chunk of their contract. Like we did Cleo Mack and Eddie Jackson and everything. I don't think they really ever did, at least like during the Ben Roethlisberger era.
They did, because Ben, I mean, we'll talk, but the money is a little bit.
Even Hines Ward didn't.
No, Ben was one of them, right?
Big Ben. Well, I'm talking about defensively.
Troy Polamalu was one of them.
Was he? Okay. That makes sense for Troy. He deserved.
They had a couple defensive linemen too.
Well, I was gonna say, is it Cam Hayward was making a nice little chunk of money?
I think Kim, but it was somebody else on that defensive line. Someone I
Well,
want to say.
if we go back before, when we talk about the Kevin Greens, the Greg Lloyds, even James Harrison. James Harrison didn't get what he needed.
Hampton, yeah.
Casey Hampton. So it's been some guys that made a little bit of scratch. But my point being, like TJ Watt right now, I think is getting paid.
Oh, I forgot TJ Watt's on that team. Yeah, he's one of the highest paid guys right now, isn't he?
Right. So their thing is not about the money. Their thing is about we're going to have to draft well, and we're going to have to be attractive enough for top tier free agents to want to come here.
True, Bullets got he's got a point right there, and that's one thing that I was saying.
I didn't see it. Well,
he basically saying that you got the Rooney
You're not wrong in that.
McCaskey.
Well,
all right, let's get one thing. Let's put it out there for all the Bill fans to know. George Stanley Hallis is rolling over in his grave
twice
right now, because this was not what he had in the cards when he wanted to handle down this legacy. Virginia ended up marrying some fucking nerd and ended up having some fucking nerd kids. Okay, these little privileged ass, nerdy ass kids don't know shit about football. They may know about mathematics. They may know some frat shit, but they don't know shit about football. None of them do.
They straight up came out and admitted that.
She is probably the smartest fucking football mind that they have in that fucking family. Everybody else is a bunch of fucking nerds that don't know shit about football. And they keep going and hiring these old, washed up ass GMs and guys that they want to sit up there and counsel them to show them who they need to go get. And you had Bill Polian. Who was it? Didn't they have a guy before Bill Polian that they were asking, or maybe Bill Polian was
somebody else? Ernie
Accorsi. All these fucking people that are fucking old, and the football has gone and surpassed them, and they're past their primes to sit up there and try to get advice from them to hire front office people, when you should be. First of all, your grandfather basically started the fucking football league. How the fuck
started the NFL?
Ounce of fucking football knowledge in that big dumbass head of yours? I do not fucking know.
Well, he said there's no magical rhyme or reason. There's no football god that's gonna come down. So.
Right.
He's delusional.
I much rather you hire some diehard Bears fan off the fucking street and tell me some type of lie like how they've been in the organization for fucking years and shit, and let them run this motherfucker.
See, I was always that person where, like, with them is like, obviously they have no issues with money. So let's just get that out of the way right now.
They got plenty of bread. They're one of the charter. Not only are they one of the charter franchises, I think they're one of only 3 franchises that are solely owned by that family.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. And the thing that annoys me, like how you brought, like, none of them know football. I don't know how you don't know football coming from that family. That really doesn't make your bedtime story should have been freaking football stories. Like, I don't understand that. But I was that person where it was like, if I was a McCaskey or if I was the Bears owner for a day, I'd be like, hey, here's a blank check. I'd hand that son of a bitch to Peyton Manning and be like, hey, Peyton, what do you want to get paid to come the team president right now?
Hey.
And then you handle the organization. We'll handle the sales and the media shit and all that. We will take care of that. You are the team president of football operations. It's all yours. Go do it.
Hey, Frank.
That's what I wanted to do.
Hey, Frank, watch yourself. You're speaking logically.
Yeah. The Bears don't speak logically.
No.
They speak stupidly.
Let's get a hedge fund guy to run a football team.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get a hedge fund guy to draft players.
Yeah.
Like, come on. Like, this is not rocket science. And we're stuck in, like, just the abyss of mediocrity, because that's really what we are.
You want to know one thing that's been constant?
Failure.
Ted Phillips.
Ted Phillips, though, makes money. He gets the Bears organization money, and that's all the McCaskies
Exactly.
care
So
about.
move
They
his
don't care
dumb
about
ass
winning
into
football.
financial officer or some shit. I don't give a fuck because he shouldn't be touching no goddamn. He shouldn't have anything to do when it comes down to drafting or signing fucking football players. He's another fucking nerd that needs to be sitting up there somewhere crunching numbers and shit, doing what he does best, which is get you guys money.
Yeah.
Let some smart football knowledgeable people take over those operations. Don't fucking, and then they have the nerve to sit up there. First of all, you spit in the fucking fan's face by sitting up there saying Ted is a, what do you say? Ted is a man of some dumbass shit.
Yeah, he spoke like a nerd.
Yeah, spoke like, oh, Ted is
like
this, Ted is that. Ted needs to take his dumb fat ass somewhere and fucking be crunching numbers and continue to make you money while you sit up there and bring in a real president of football operations and let them run the shit.
Let me go back in time and
right. That's it. Character.
Character. He's a man of character.
He's a man of character.
But
my ass.
But here's my segue. There was an organization about 20 years ago, maybe a little bit more, where the owner, who's notorious for screwing up, hired this little ballsy GM, and we got 6 championships out of it.
Yeah, hey.
And he was a baseball guy.
Yeah, he was.
But he had an eye for athletic talent.
Our guest has arrived, JB. So
that's why I did the segue.
Yeah. We'll get back to football after that. So, Fowler, you want to introduce him?
Yeah. Now coming on to the stage.
And now,
we can't get like a bull.
Arkansas. 6'6", Mr. Ronnie Brewer.
Welcome, Mr. Brewer.
Well, actually, I'm 6'7", but
I was about to say that. I was like,
I thought 6'4" was kind of small. He was rocking.
We
he said 6'6".
NBA guys be lying sometimes.
No, I'm a legit 6'7".
Hey, you gonna give me all my answers up?
How are y'all doing?
How's it going, Ronnie?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Man, real good. How you doing, man? Hey, congrats on the season, man. Congrats on the season.
For sure.
Thank you. I apologize for coming on a little late, but I appreciate you guys having this, having me. You know, to be honest, we're preparing. You know, most teams are probably dragging their feet or going through the motions, but their attention to detail and intensity level is not as high as of where we are right now at Arkansas, because we're going on a foreign tour in about 2.5 weeks. We're going to Spain and we're going to Italy. So I was at the gym, watching our guys work out, get some extra shots up after hours, and I was a little late getting back to you guys, so I do apologize.
It's all good. We appreciate you coming.
We appreciate you coming on.
Hey,
we always got time for a former bench mob player. You know what I'm
if I may say, one of my favorite bench mob guys. Because that energy, man, the energy you brought when you came out on that court, man, it was priceless.
Man, I appreciate that, man. And to be honest, playing for Coach Tibbs, he told you to leave your ego at the door, and having D Rose on the team, he was genuinely playing for the city every night. And so I knew I wasn't a guy that could score, 30 points. All I can control is my energy and my effort every time I stepped on the court. And so that was kind of my mentality. I tried to bring that to the bench mob. We knew we could defend every night. We knew we could play with energy, and we knew D Rose and Luau and Joakim and Booz and all those guys were going to bring it. But if they didn't have energy and effort a particular night, we knew that our job as the bench mob was to pick those guys up, get us back in the game, and put us in a position to win each and every night.
Yes, and one thing I know that you notice about Chicago fans, when we see you give out effort and heart like that, we love that shit. We eat that shit
up.
That
is what Chicago is.
And we appreciate that. We appreciate everything you did for us, brother. Real talk.
No doubt. I really
gave us some hope and a shot in the arm that we needed so desperately, man. Because Oh, Ronnie, we had some lean years, man, but we're going to get to that in a minute. Tell us and tell the audience a little bit about yourself, because you have an interesting story, because a lot of people don't know this, but you come from some pretty good stock there, don't you?
Yes, sir. I mean, you know, my mom and dad both played basketball. My dad, you know, was an All-American in high school and an All-American in college at the University of Arkansas, being the 7th pick in 1978. Had me in 1985. He played 8 years in the NBA. And then, you know, kind of molded me to the person who I was and am today. And it's just foreshadowing a little bit. It's kind of crazy, kind of how similar our careers were, not only in like high school, college, but the pros. And, you know, we ended up both going to the University of Arkansas, both All-Americans there. You know, he went 7th, I went 14th. You know, he had a little small stint with the Chicago Bulls, but he played for the Trailblazers, played for Cleveland Cavaliers, Golden State Warriors, San Antonio Spurs. And it's a funny story because now my current role and my current boss, you know, I'm the recruiting coordinator over all the recruitment at the University of Arkansas under Coach Eric Musselman. My dad played for his dad, Coach Musselman, when they were in the Cleveland Cavaliers. And, you know, you fast forward, you know, X amount of years, I'm now coaching alongside of Coach Musselman, recruiting some of the top players in the country. And, you know, it's just been a full circle. Be able to, you know, finish in the NBA, come back to my hometown, coach in my alma mater at Fayetteville High School, you know, coach AAU basketball, which I thought I was going to be doing for the rest of my life, high school, coaching, teaching high school, coaching AAU, and then got the opportunity to go to my alma mater, Arkansas, and coach and recruit the guys that we're recruiting. And this has been a blessing. And, you know, hopefully I can stay here a long time. We can have continued success. You know, we're coming off the back-to-back Elite Eights. Got the number 2 recruiting class this year.
Yes.
We're looking forward to a huge year here, you know, at Bud Walton.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, man, like you said earlier when you were talking, it's something about like that Arkansas. That Arkansas program, they have been known. What was their own motto? 60 minutes of hell or something like that?
Dude, they were always hard nosed.
Yeah,
that was Nolan Richardson.
Yeah.
Coach Richardson.
Yeah, that program, man. You know, when you go against Arkansas, you know you're gonna be in for some shit.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a hard ass battle playing Arkansas. Like you said, it's all about how you guys prepare. Like you said, y'all doing something different now that most teams aren't doing right now. You know,
Yeah.
So I definitely feel you on that. It's always been tough playing Arkansas.
Yeah,
we always loved Arkansas from them days too.
Always,
man.
They were always a team I can never root against.
You can go back to the days of Eddie Sutton, you know, Hall of Fame legendary coach, rest in peace, to Nolan Richardson, to all the other coaches prior to that, and to now Coach Musselman. The tradition in Arkansas, you know, goes way back. You know, a lot of people don't like to talk about Arkansas basketball, and that's totally okay. They're usually the team that's slept on, but you know, I always say from the Jay-Z quote, men lie, women lie, but numbers don't. You know, Coach Musselman's been here 3 years. He's won 73 games. That's more than any coach in the SEC. So I'm not going to go through the teams or the coaches, but it's the most wins by any SEC coach in the span that he's been here. You know, he's had back-to-back Elite Eight runs. The year prior to that, COVID happened. So, the team's going to make the tournament. So literally it would have been 3 out of 3 years, lottery one and done with Moses Moody. A lot of other guys that he's put in the NBA. Jalen Williams is the latest guy that just got drafted to the Oklahoma City Thunder. So, we're putting guys in the league. We're winning games. We're going to the Elite Eight. And I feel like, we're picking up where Eddie Sutton and Nolan Richardson left off to get Arkansas back to the glory days when they were, habitual team in the Final Four, Elite Eight, national championship talk. We haven't made it to the Final Four, national championship in a long time, but we're definitely trying to get back there.
Definitely. Hey, much luck to you fellas too, man. Hope y'all guys do make it. Except for when y'all play my Wolverines, man. If y'all play them, yeah.
Don't worry. Ain't nobody here gives a flying rat's ass about no
I love their coach. He's a phenomenal coach. he's turning that program around, and he's going to win for a long time. So,
Yes.
I love what he's doing there.
Yeah. So tell us about some of your days back in the Shy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Part of the bench mob. Like, who were some of the guys that you hung out? Who were you really close with on the team? Or were you close with anybody?
It's kind of crazy because, if it's football, basketball, baseball, track, golf, tennis, whatever professional sport is,
hockey.
Most people have families, and whenever you're done with your occupation, you usually go home with your family and you have family time, and you don't ever see your teammates until the next practice or game. We didn't really believe that in Chicago when we were playing for Tibbs. We knew that for us to be the best team we possibly can, we had to have the best team chemistry. Nobody was better than anybody else. We all needed each other to win each and every game. From the top guy in D Rose to the bottom guy on the roster. And so it was so many times that it wouldn't just be like one or two guys. It'd be like Joakim, D Rose, me, Luau, Bulls, Kyle Culver, Taj, Kurt Thomas, CJ Watson, Rashul Butler recipes, Omir Asik. You can go down Brian Scalabrine. You can go down the list of guys that we would go bowling or out to eat or to watch a movie or just to chill and relax in somebody's house. Like it was literally like when you say we were like family, that's not just like a metaphor. Like we were literally like family. We did a lot of things together. We hung together. Our families hung out together. And that's why we gelled so well together so quickly. You got to understand, when we all come into the season, the only returners were D Rose, Luau, Taj Gibson, Joakim, and James Johnson. Those are the only returning guys on that roster. Everybody else was new. So you had me, Bulls, and Kyle Corver coming from Utah, and then CJ from Golden State, and Scal from Boston, and you can go down the list of guys. They all came from everywhere. Even when we got Rip Hamilton, like we all came from different places, and we had to gel together so quickly. We had to find a way. Like, what other teams that were successful? Why were they so successful? Well, the Spurs, everybody got along really well with each other. They won a lot of championships. The Boston Celtics, they always got along. The Lakers, they always got along. Now you look at Golden State, like they're having a lot of success because they play so well together and they look like they all get along. We knew that, and so we knew that that's what we had to do. We had to genuinely like each other, play well together, and be selfless. It was all about the team. Nobody, and no other reason other to win, didn't care about the notoriety. Once we were winning, D Rose, MVP candidate, ended up getting the MVP. Joakim Noah is getting a whole bunch of notoriety. Bulls,
He was getting MVP votes too, Joakim.
Yeah, absolutely. Luau Deng, All-Star. You can go down the list of guys that were, Taj Gibson ended up getting paid big money. Omir Asik ended up getting paid big money. Everybody who did their part and bought into Coach Tibbs' philosophy, it made us win. And we had a lot of team success, which led to a lot of individual success.
Yeah, I felt like you said it perfectly with team chemistry. People don't understand how important team chemistry is. Yeah. Like, you could have all the talent you want on your team. If you don't get along with them, like a la Russell Westbrook going on right now in LA. It's just, if you don't have that built-in team chemistry, I just feel like the superstars aren't going anywhere. And yes, you had
that shit show coming.
But you said it perfectly with Tibbs too.
Yeah, if that's the perfect example. If you look at the Lakers, all those guys get along well off the floor. The thing is, they didn't bring that same chemistry and camaraderie off the floor, on the floor, and it showed. And here's the example. When you were watching the Bulls, when I was playing for them, if D Rose, Luau, or Kyle Corver, or myself was overplaying and got beat to the basket, they didn't have to think, is Omir going to be right there? Is Ty's going to be there to help? Is Joakim going to be there to help? Is Boozer going to be able to help? We knew, man, I could be aggressive as hell because I have trust in my teammates to be able to slide over. And when they slide over, maybe the other big pulls down. I know I have to cover down on the other big because they slid over and helped my man, and we rotated out of that, and it was second, third, and fourth efforts to make us one of the most efficient defensive teams and one of the most efficient offensive teams because of our chemistry and us knowing each other and trusting each other on and off the floor.
Yeah, and that actually is a perfect segue to where I wanted to go to next too. Like, are you following the Bulls nowadays and where they're at right now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you said filling in holes perfectly and all that type stuff, like if somebody makes a mistake, you know somebody's going to be there to have your back. Like the Bulls had that this past season, the first half of the season, when they had Lonzo Ball in the lineup and they had Caruso, those defensive floor generals. But then when they got hurt, that was non-existent. Does like one person really make like a key factor with that as well, as far as just making sure everybody's in the right place?
I do think that a person makes a huge difference. I mean, if LeBron's hurt for a season, whatever team he's on, they're expecting a huge contribution from him, offensive, defensive, and I think the normal fan would think, oh yeah, they're missing his rebounds, points, assists. No, it's more than that, because now we have like Caruso and Ball. With them being out, you're losing your floor general. You're losing your voice. Your leader in the locker room. Your leader in the huddle. A guy that's, hey, maybe they don't do it by example on the floor. They tell you, hey, help us to kick it so we can take one more pass to the corner because they're going to rotate and we're going to have a corner three. Or, hey, man, when he drives to the basket, we're going to slide over for the charge. If not get it, we're going to cover down, make them throw out, and we're going to rotate off of that and scramble out of that and make them take a tough shot with a short shot clock. And so I think that losing a player like that who's your leader, it not necessarily, yes, the fan is going to be like our fantasy fan, oh, we don't have his points or rebounds or assists, but it goes a lot deeper than that because you're losing that leader in the locker room. You're losing that leader in the huddle. And the guys that you said, they're extension of the coach. You know, the coach tells them what to do on the court, and they relay it to the rest of their teammates, and they execute it at a high level. So missing those guys, yes, you missed them offensively and defensively, but more as a vocal leader, you know, in the locker room, in the huddle.
Yeah, but you got to take advice from the good old saying from Tibbs right there is next man up.
Absolutely.
I mean, that was the problem with the Bulls. They dealt with so many injuries this past season. They did not play one game with a full healthy roster. That's insane to have.
And I think for fans, Bulls fans, they should be very optimistic because it wasn't a disaster season. Like the Bulls had a good year, and like it's a mark that they're bringing everybody back. It's good that, hey, yes, we got stung with the injury bug, but if healthy, you know, the Bulls can make some noise.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I know we had one question in the comments.
Yeah, I was about to get to that, but yeah, go ahead, Frank.
But the problem is Bullets had to freaking take mine because this was my question I wanted to ask you too. So he had to be the one to ask it. Can you answer that question?
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, it's funny that they asked that because I feel like it was like a broken record. So when I was in fifth grade, I went to. I mean, we're huge Razorback fans. My dad was the All-American there. We would get invited to the annual back to school summer barbecue, and so it was the current team, their families, the coaching staff, their families, former players. They would all meet at Beaver Lake, which is a local lake here in Northwest Arkansas. There'd be a barbecue. People be playing spades, dominoes, music, balloon toss, egg toss, and they're swimming in the lake. So, you know, I was accustomed to swimming in pools, but not like in the lake. So I was like, hey, you know, I'm gonna wear a life vest because I don't want to get thrown, because there's a slide that went off a huge hill and it shot you in the middle of the lake. So I was like, hey, let me wear a life vest because I don't know how deep the middle of that lake is. It might be 40 feet. And just to be safe, let me wear a life vest. Well, guys wanted to go farther and farther and farther and farther and farther on the lake, and that's totally fine. I didn't want to do that, so I was gracefully going down. Well, they started putting soap on the slides and started pushing people down the slides. Well, back then I was maybe 75, 80 pounds. I was super skinny. I grew up my whole life as a string bean, and so I knew if I was going to go fast down a water slide, and it's gonna shoot me way on the other side of the lake, and I was gonna have a hard time swimming back. I mean, that's just being real. And so I went to go, and then some people were horse playing behind me and pushing and pushing and pushing, and one of the kids fell and pushed me down the slide. Well, I get to going fast because they put soap on the slide, and I get to flying, and I'm hitting the bumps, and I'm like, I'm catching air, and I'm like, if I don't slow down some way, it's gonna shoot me on the other side of the lake, and I'm gonna have a hard time swimming back. So I tried to put my hands on the slide to slow down a little bit. Well, I didn't see at the bottom there was like a prong that was holding the slide up. And so when I had my arm down there, it hit my elbow, like elbow-ish, and compound fractured my arm and threw me in the water. So ended up having to have surgery, put pins in my arm, totally fine. And then I got my cast off, and I'm like, hey, I'm ready to go play basketball. And so my dad was like, okay, let's start with the basics, whatever. My dad gets frustrated with me because he was like, well, why are you shooting the basketball like that? I was like, why am I shooting like what? And I was, he's throwing me the ball. He's like, shoot it again. Shot it, I made it. He's like, no, don't shoot it like that. And I was like, okay. I'm confused because you're throwing me the basketball and I'm shooting it and it's going in. You're saying don't shoot it like that. So you want me to miss intentionally? He goes, no. Why are you holding your elbow out like that? And I was like, I have no idea. And so we did that for a while. And he just thought, he's like, dude, stop doing that. Shoot it regular. And I was like, this is how I shoot the basketball. I go back to the doctor and he was like, well, that's just how your arm's set. That's, there's no deformity. Yes. That's how you shoot the ball comfortably, right? And I go, yeah, it's very comfortable. It goes in. And I'm just going to tell a side story to add on that. So, going into the draft, everybody was talking about the water slide injury. And I was like, dude, I've answered this question to every NBA team, every reporter. And I was like, they talked about it like a lot when I was like a rookie in my second year, third year, fourth year, fifth year. But it was kind of crazy because I went to the University of Kansas's like kiddie camp per se. One of my mentors, Nick Bradford, he played for Roy Williams at Kansas, and I looked up to Nick Bradford. We coached together at Fayetteville High School under Coach Stamps. One of the reasons why I went to coach at Fayetteville High School is Coach Stamps and Nick Bradford. But I go to the camp up there, and I'm like I'm in seventh grade going to eighth grade. And so it had been close to 3 years since I broke my arm. And so I'm like, man, I work on my shot every day. I work on my shot. It's repetitive. It goes in. My dad is like, hey, it doesn't matter what it looks like or how it starts. It's how it finishes. Like you put your arm and you shoot out of a phone booth. You put your form in a cookie jar. If it goes in, hey, I'm not going to tell you how it starts. Well, Roy Williams is at the camp. And, I'm not thinking anything of it. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. That's Roy Williams. But I was more fascinated, with Nick Bradford and Lester Earl and all these other guys that they have on the team. Because I was a huge Nick Bradford fan, which made me a huge KU fan. And Roy Williams came over there because literally I went from being in the 8th grade group. They moved me up to the 9th grade, the 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade group, and eventually offered me a scholarship. But Roy Williams gave me this advice, like, hey, man, there's going to be tons of shooting coaches that's going to say, hey, that's not how you shoot it. It's not how you shoot it. It's not how you shoot it. Because it's unorthodox and it starts out funny, but the ending is exactly how people shoot it. Now, I'm not saying I'm the best shooter because I'm far from the best shooter, but I worked hard at where I made it where it was going in at a solid rate in high school, junior high, college, pros. And so I never changed it. And that's kind of the story of my unorthodox shot. It was a water slide injury. So
it wasn't as bad as Joakim Noah's, right?
It wasn't as bad as Joakim.
I was gonna say Bill Cartwright.
I used to always say, hey, I broke my arm in a water slide, and that's why mine looks like that. What's your excuse? But at the same time, Joakim worked really, really hard at his shot.
He's a good free throw shooter.
I told him to shoot it because you put so much work in it and on it, and let it fly. And I used to love when you used to get the pistols and shoot them and put them back in there because, whenever you put work in and you see success, if it's individual or team success, and it makes it all worth it. And I think Joakim really put a lot of work in to make his shot consistent, and he was knocking them down for us.
Absolutely. Hey, Ronnie, apologize for the technical difficulties. I don't know. My computer just decided to act a fool right now. But big fan of yours, of course. Big fan of Coach Eric Musselman. He, little side story, he actually recruited my son when he was at Nevada. So I'm a big fan of Coach Musselman.
Okay.
That's my guy. That's my guy. I follow him everywhere. But I wanted to ask you, coming in out that first round, with the 14th pick going to Utah, how was that experience those 4 years? The home Malone, Stockton, the home Mystique. How was that? Because I know, Utah, Booz was there too,
And Corver too.
So it's funny. On draft night, I was very anxious. I was in New York in the green room. My name was called 14th pick, and they asked me, so who are you looking forward to playing with your teammates? Like, which team are you looking forward to play with the most? And I just froze, and I was like, Darren Williams. And I couldn't really think of any other guys, but I knew Darren Williams. Me and him had a really close relationship. We played against each other. In college, I watched him a lot. In high school, we were on USA different teams. Yeah. And so I was like, yo, D Will, looking forward to playing with him. And they were like, what about Booz? What about AK? What about Memo? And I was like, oh yeah, I know all these guys. I don't know why I had a brain fart, but Derek Fisher's he's a guy from
Moment.
Yeah, he's a guy from Little Rock that, kind of mentored me, took me under his wing and was like, hey, we're both Arkansas guys. And it was kind of a culture shock because when you go out there, you don't see a ton of black people. I mean, there's people that live out there. There's people that go to University of Utah, BYU. Man, it's a beautiful city. Man, the best fans, the best people. When I went out there, it literally reminded me of Arkansas because, it's very scenic here. You have technically what I learned is we have hills here. We don't have mountains in Arkansas compared to the mountains in Utah, but we have hills out here. Arkansas is the biggest stage here in Arkansas, the Arkansas Razorbacks. Same thing with the Utah Jazz. They are the biggest show, the biggest stage in Utah. And the fans let you know. Like, I had so many sellout games when I played college basketball that you don't take it for granted when you get to the NBA because there was so many good teams that didn't sell out their arena when we go play on the road. But when we were at home, we had sellout after sellout after sellout. I don't think I played in one game while I was in Utah my 4 years without a sellout crowd. And that might not mean a lot to a lot of people, but to me, that meant a lot because you could be spending your hard-earned money on anything. You could be putting food on the table with your family. You could be, watching soccer. You could be watching baseball. You could be doing anything, watching college sports. But you chose to come to watch the Utah Jazz and support us. Man, I thought it was the best thing on earth. And the thing that was crazy is after being there for 4 years and experiencing all of that, I was like, there's nothing better than playing for the Utah Jazz. I freaking go to the Chicago Bulls, and it's the exact same thing because we started winning.
Sellout after sellout.
Yes, we started winning, sellout after sellout. I mean, C Red and the bench mob. I mean, that stuff blew up. And again, there's so much stuff in Chicago. I mean, you got the Cubs, the White Sox, the Bears. You got anything you could be doing. Local colleges, you could be doing anything, and people were supporting the Bulls, and that meant a lot because you put a lot of hard-earned blood, sweat, and tears in your craft. And, a lot of people don't know that, like, the average career is, like, 3 years in the NBA. If you're a second-round pick, the average amount of games that you actually play in is 100 games. That's nothing. That's one season and some playoff games. You know what I'm saying? And so,
it's insane.
Like, to have fan support year after year while we were there and the product we put on the court, it meant a lot to me, and it meant a lot to my teammates. And, I didn't think you could top Utah. But Chicago, it's right there for sure.
From the Delta Center to the United Center. I love it. I love
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
What made you choose that, if you don't mind, coming from Utah to the Bulls? I mean, obviously, if it's contractual, whatever. But
yeah, it made it a easy sell. My agent Henry Hank Thomas, rest in peace, from Chicago. That's where his agency was based out of. D Brown, me from Chicago. He was like, "I'll show you the ropes." Bulls already signed first in Utah. He called Kyle Korver and myself. "Hey, y'all should come to Chicago." I was like, I don't know. Well, Kyle signs with them, calls me. Well, they both called me on three-way. It was like, dude, this is gonna be a Utah right over again. 3 guys that know how to play together, know to throw the ball in.
Nice to go there, man.
Run a pairs, run a split, know how to play the right way, unselfish. Is a team first, guys. Like, we knew that we could play with each other. We knew that D Rose is I'm gonna do anything I possibly can to win. I knew Luol Deng was the same way. I knew Joe Keeman because we had played against each other in college multiple times. I knew who those guys were. I had to meet Todd for the first time. Loved everything about him. Heard stuff about Tibbs. I was like, man, ain't no coach scared me at all. Like, I played for Jerry Sloan, so I was like, Tibbs is not like I'm scared of Tibbs. I knew that, like, what he was in Boston, and when he was with the Knicks, and when he was with the Houston Rockets. I knew what kind of person he was, what kind of coach, and that he can, yes, he was hard, but he knew what buttons to push and how to go down and get every ounce out of you to put out the final product. Like, everybody gave 110%. There was never a possession or a game that I could say, "Oh yeah, we didn't play that hard." No. Every loose ball, I'm diving for it. I'm giving my body up to take charges. So it was an easy sell for me that I knew 2 teammates that were going there that I played with for multiple years, and I knew some core guys on their team that were very open for us to come and were welcoming us with open arms, and I knew the coach, and then I knew the city was a sports city, and I knew the tradition of the Chicago Bulls. So it made it an easy sell for me. That now, was it some pressure on me? I knew coming from Arkansas, I wouldn't be able to ever live up to Scottie Pippen, or we couldn't ever live up to Michael Jordan. We see the banners that's in the rafters. We were practicing at the time in the same place that they were practicing in, but we wanted to try to write our own legacy, and we knew that if we could buy in to each other, buy into Tibbs and his system, that we could win games and have a chance to try to win a championship. We knew the Heat were going to be really, really good. We knew LeBron was going to team up with Chris Bosh and Dwayne.
Yeah, we knew he had to run away to a super team in order to beat us.
I knew for sure he was going to do that because my agent represents Dwayne Wade, or did represent Dwayne Wade, and Udonis Haslem, and Chris Bosh. So I knew what was going on, and I knew what was up against. But I knew, like, hey, if we played solid basketball for 48 minutes, played unselfish the right way, we would have a chance to be in each and every game that we stepped on the court to play.
You guys were in almost every single game with them. I mean, unfortunately, that the injury to Derrick Rose, man, just
Well, even before that, remember that was a 62-20 season. The Bulls were the number 1 seed.
Yeah, that year, the first year, we had beat Miami, I think maybe 4-0 throughout the season.
In the regular season,
you beat them all the games.
Yes.
We were like, hey, we're not getting overconfident because we know it's different, but we feel like we can play with those guys. Obviously the playoffs is a little different. It's called a little different, but we loved our chances, especially with the young D Rose and how everybody else is playing, and Tibbs's in-game adjustments. We liked where we were at. We weren't going into that series like, oh crap, we're scared or there we have no chance. We went in like they've got to come see us, just like we have to go see them. So
absolutely. And I remember quite a few times when you got in the game and LeBron thought it was sweet, and it wasn't. It wasn't sweet at all.
It's never easy.
He's the chosen one.
I always said this, man. Like, playing for Coach Sloan, he was always saying, "Hey, man, get your hard hat, and your lunch pail, and go to work, man. You shut up, just do your job." And having to guard Kobe so many times, rest in peace, Kobe. He's such a competitor that, hey, man, he gets paid hundreds of millions of dollars to put the ball in the basket. So it's not like he can't do it. He's one of the best to do it. Like, just try to make him work for every bucket, challenge every shot, make it hard on him. If you do that, you did your job. Now,
yeah, and Ronnie, it's funny that you said that because there was another question that kind of brought up what you just said. I wanted to pop it up here. It's just from Skylark. It says, "You have any crazy stories from the Bulls players going up against any of these NBA players, like a Kobe Bryant, Shaquille O'Neal, LeBron James, and all of them?"
Well, the Kobe story I would say is, I remember coming in the league and everybody, my rookie year, Coach Sloan was like, "Oh, I don't believe rookies should play," and I was like, is this real life? Like, I saw people like Ray Allen go for 40 in Seattle, and Rashard Lewis the next time he played go for 40, and saw Vince Carter go crazy. And I was like, man, this is like a video game. Like, all these dudes are scoring all these big. And then I remember being in the playing at LA. Kobe's going crazy. I think he had 30 points in one quarter in the second quarter, and Coach Stone is like, he goes to the locker room, he's going crazy, kicks the chair. It's like everybody's scared of Kobe. Everybody's scared of Kobe, and I was like, I mean, I respect the crap out of Kobe. He's one of the greatest players of all time, but I'm not scared of no player in the NBA. Like, I'm scared of God, but that's it. I'm gonna compete. That's all I know. So he was like, "Oh, so you're gonna compete?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" And like, I wouldn't like a pushover. Like, I was like, if you come at me, I'm gonna stand my ground. And so he was like, "Well, okay, well, if you think that you're not a pushover, go guard him." I was like, "Okay." And I started the second half, and made him take tough shots. He made a lot of tough, because that's what he does, is a tough shot maker. But like, I wasn't scared of any player. Now, did I respect a lot of players? Absolutely. Even when I was playing for Chicago, I don't know if y'all remember when we were playing the Knicks and Melo hit all those threes. Like, Melo was like, he was talking a little bit like, "Yo, like, y'all left too much time on the clock, or I'm getting hot, or too late, or stuff like that, or give me that." He'd always talk on the rebounds. But nobody was scared on our team to guard. Luau was not scared to guard. I wasn't scared to guard. And so when you go up against the Heat, it's like, okay, I'll match up against Dwayne Wade. You match up against LeBron. If you get in foul trouble or Dwayne Wade gets subbed out, I'll move to LeBron and try to slow him down and let you get a breather or rest and get your legs up under you. Or you can be aggressive on offense and I'll guard them. And so that's basically it. Like, I wasn't much of I didn't talk a lot of crap to players, because I was always told, like, you don't want to poke the bear or wake them up. And so every player's working hard on their craft, and guys get paid a lot of money to put the ball in the basket. So you just wanted to compete as hard as you possibly can and try to slow them down. And you weren't going to hold anybody to 0 points, because that just doesn't happen. But just playing as hard as you possibly can as a defender, that's all I could do. One of the things that I think was a funny story about Coach Sloan, which to me shows how much of a legend he was. Every NBA team does shoot around the day of the game. You go to the gym, get up shots, and then you go back to the hotel, watch film, eat, rest a little bit, and then come back to the game. Well, we were on the road, and Coach Sloan drops his scouting report and leaves it on the table. And we're all walking out, and I'm like, I'm trying to get some shots up, and got to make your last shot before you go into the locker room. And I see his scouting report. So I was like, "Hey, Coach Sloan, you left your scouting report." He grabbed it. He throws it back over there. He's like, "Man, leave it right there." And I was like, "Coach, I'm going to grab your scouting report and throw it in the trash. I'm going to keep it. I'm not leaving here, because it has all our plays and what we're going to do to stop this particular player." And Coach Sloan was like, "Hey, I've been running the same stuff, same plays, same terminology for 30-some years." He says, "The reason why I make you cut so hard in practice, and why it's repetitive and 5 on the offense, and why that's the most important part of our practice, because I want us to know our plays like our back of our hand, and I want to go at 110% each and every rep, because running and competing at that level, it's going to be dang hard for anybody, regardless if they know what we're doing or not, to stop us if they're not accustomed to guarding in practice somebody going 110%. And so our practices were really hard. each and every day, but it set in my mind that, okay, don't go through the motions, don't take days off, compete. It doesn't matter if the team knows the plays. Just like I might know what Kobe Bryant's counter is, sometimes better offense is better than better defense. And that's the rule in the NBA. It doesn't matter what people know. Sometimes that's a guy's just better. And then sometimes you just gotta live with it. Just in that particular series with Miami, they were the better team. Even though we beat them in the regular season. And sometimes it's like that, but that's nothing to hang your head down or whatever. But there's a lot of great players in the NBA back then before I even played. When I played, right after I finished, in current day, there's a lot of talented players, and it's just sometimes it sucks to see people going back and forth saying, well, this person's better than this person's better than that person, or he couldn't play in this era. Like, everybody was great in their own way, in their own particular time. And to me, it just sucks to see people downplay other people when we should be celebrating everybody and what they accomplished in their career, because there's only been like 5,000 people that played in the NBA. It's not a lot.
Very small percentage.
Small percentage. And the 15th man on the NBA bench can 9 times out of 10 whoop the average person. So.
Well, it's funny you said that, because while we were playing in season, we had like Mike James, John Lucas, Scalabrini, and at one particular time, Jimmy Butler, when he was a rookie. But people would get on the internet and troll those guys and be like, "Oh, you effing suck. You're sorry. Like, you're a scrub. Like, you're a bench warmer." People don't understand. Like, Scal was like an All-American. He's got a ring. Like, he was killing. Yes, he was killing. Jimmy Butler was killing. John Lucas was an All-American at Oklahoma State.
He was killing.
I mean, he was going crazy. Like, so just because they're not playing doesn't mean they're bad players. It just means the people that are in front of them are even better than what they are.
Exactly.
And so Scal was like, "Oh, okay." And I vividly remember this. We were playing at the Toyota Center in Houston, and somebody was just trolling John Lucas and Brian Scalabrine. And so they were like, "Okay, well, meet us at the park across the street from the arena. There's an outside park that has a full court out there." And they literally went out there and played all day. They were like, "Well, we're not going to get in the game. We're going to get some real bump." And so they were playing, and I was like, our team stays right there in the hotel. So I was like, I want to watch, and then walk back to the hotel. I mean, they were busting everybody. I mean, literally, it was crazy. And that was the 13, 14, 15 man. So,
people forgot Scal got buckets at USC. Like,
people forget so quickly, and it's funny because I had to tell my daughter and my nieces and nephews, like, to be saying, "Oh, that dude sucks." Well, hold on, watch your mouth, because until you have over 1,000 something career points at your college, All-American in high school, All-American in college, and you get drafted in the NBA, you're not trash, you don't suck, and you cannot beat them one-on-one. So you got to put some respect on a lot of these guys' name, and I know that might hit home to a lot of people. Like, "Oh yeah, whatever, they still trash." You really can't beat those dudes in the NBA. Like, you just can't, because they don't play in the game.
Right. It's a very small percentage somebody may not have made it because of this or that, trouble with their livelihood or something. But
it's not like football where there's a 52-man roster, man.
Right. Yeah.
Right. But but Ronnie, that's so I'm assuming you don't subscribe to that GOAT conversation, but do you have a top 10?
I mean, I don't really buy into the GOAT conversation, because people, it's so easy, and to me it's really disrespectful, but for whatever reason they're like, "Oh, LeBron or Michael Jordan." It's LeBron or Michael Jordan. Well, they just forget, like, Kobe Bryant played basketball too. Like, Kobe Bryant was really, really, really good. And then if you're crowning those three, I mean, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar's got to be in there. Bill Russell's got to be in there. Yeah. I mean, I don't understand how you can like not mention some of these greats. Like Tim Duncan doesn't even get mentioned in like people's top 10. Tim Duncan is
crazy, right?
Tim Duncan is one of the best players to play the game, and like a Larry Bird or
Shaq
or Magic Johnson, or I mean, you could go on and on and on and on and on and on and on about Oscar Robertson or Jerry West or sooner or later, we're gonna have to put Steph Curry and KD, and if those guys keep on winning, you're gonna have to add those guys' names into the all-time great conversation, because these guys are doing stuff that hasn't been done. Like Steph Curry has recreated the game to, hey, we're on a fast break, we're gonna run for a layup, to no, I'm gonna pull up for a three because I shoot this thing so efficiently that this is a high efficient shot for me, is the pull up three on fast break. Which to me changed the game, because now you're seeing that in junior high, high school, college.
Yeah, I remember getting benched for doing that. So
right.
And I always tell people this:
Tibbs would have killed somebody for doing that.
If you change the game, you got to be one of the all-time greats. Like Shaquille O'Neal, he changed the game. They created a thing called a Hack-a-Shack. They were wrapping him up because we couldn't stop you in the post, and so for us to be able to have a chance, we're gonna have to foul you right when you throw the ball in, because we can't stop you in real basketball.
I still remember that one video of the hack and Shaq when right off of the jump ball.
Yeah,
Greg Popovich told them the hack and sack Shaq. Shaq's like looking around, and all you see is Popovich with his thumbs up.
Yeah, like laughing because he was like, "Hey, that's not real basketball."
No.
And to me, it's funny because if you really watch Shaq when he was in Orlando, he was in LA, when he's in Miami, he was a freight train. He was a force to be reckoned with. Really, really good. So there's a lot of guys that you can throw in that category. Like, these guys were some dudes. I just hate they try to minimize it, because it's like, if you're talking rings, like Bill Russell is dominating everybody.
12? Was he got like 11 or 12 rings?
Yeah, he's crushing people. So, I try to I like to pay homage to people and give them their flowers while they can smell them, because and not try to like crap on somebody else. Like, oh, LeBron's the greatest, and so I got to crap on Kobe and Michael Jordan. No. LeBron is great. Kobe's great. Jordan's great. But so is so many other guys that were so great to the game and meant so much to the game. Like, you like the top 75 guys. Even when you name top 75 guys, there were still guys that didn't get named. Like, you're like, wait. Yeah. Like for example, like a close friend of mine, like, how do you not say Dwight Howard? Like, Dwight Howard was one of the last most dominant bigs in the game. Like, defensive player of the year. Like, he literally took Orlando
rebounding
to the NBA Finals.
Yeah.
The only thing he's missing is a championship. Same thing with Charles Barkley or Dennis Rodman. Like, those guys, they deserve their flowers. And like, people like, they badmouth like Charles Barkley because he doesn't have a ring, or Reggie Miller. Those dudes were really, really good at basketball, flat out. Like, it took Steph Curry to beat Reggie and Ray Allen's record. Like, that's Steph Curry is might be the greatest shooter of all time.
Man, I think he is already the greatest shooter of all time, and he's still going. And it's awesome that you said that, because I wanted to bring that up too. And this is why, like, what you said when you were talking about like the GOAT, the greatest of all times, Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, Kareem, all of them, Magic, Larry, came out and said, it was like, I am not telling you who the GOAT is, because it is disrespectful to the people who played before me, who laid down the carpet for me and showed me how to play the game. It's disrespectful. I don't like talking about it. But LeBron James comes right out and says, I'm the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
I find that exactly what all of them said. I find that disrespectful.
Well,
just because you won a championship in Cleveland, that doesn't make you the greatest of all time.
Well, and this might be a reach, but this is how I take it. A lot of people gave some negative thoughts when John Morant's dad or Anthony Towns, or Steph Curry or Mr. Ball, like
I was just gonna say, don't forget the balls.
yeah, like these dudes are confident. They're confident in themselves, but they're also confident in their sons.
Yeah.
Now,
nothing wrong with confidence.
And I'm switching that back to LeBron. He's supposed to be his biggest supporter. He's supposed to self-proclaim him, hey, man, the work I'm putting in, my resume, I think I'm the greatest of all time. Because if he doesn't believe it in himself, and he's not telling everybody he's the greatest of all time, who's going to really say that he is? Because if he doesn't claim that he is, then everybody's going to say Kobe or Michael Jordan. Yeah. What he did to me was he threw his hat in the conversation. And now people are like, oh.
He was in the conversation before he even threw his hat in there.
True.
Like, I mean, that's 100% agreed.
But look where look from when he said it to where he is now. Yeah. Now they were saying, oh, he might be, or people are like, oh, no. Every day I spend a lot of time on social media, my current job, following players and just seeing what people are saying. I don't care what people say about me, but I'm just watching other people's narratives of things.
Yeah.
Every day there is a graphic that's posted debating why LeBron James is better than Kobe, why LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan. Every day.
And it's always going to be the opposite way. And that's the thing that changed.
People who are not playing basketball or have no say in it, but they feel like, hey, I'm going to argue for this way or the other. Well, that's what LeBron did is he entered himself into the conversation and allowed his fans to run with it. And that's exactly what they're doing. And they're doing exactly what they're supposed to do. And LeBron did exactly what he's supposed to do.
That's what politicians do.
Well, and that's why I think after basketball, I think LeBron is going to be a politician or owner of some kind. I mean, that's
I guarantee
what it's going to be.
I mean, he might not have a great future in it, though, because he does trade every single person to get a washed-up player.
I will.
I throw my hat in there on that one. Huh?
I got a question for you because I have two. Okay. But what was one of your favorite plays, no matter what team you're on, dunks? I'll never forget when Tim Duncan thought it was sweet. You caught Tim Duncan real quick.
I saw that video actually today.
But, I watched it live. And then, do you remember the Josh McRoberts two-hand? What? Of course you do.
Yeah. So that's funny that you said those two plays because.
Well, that's two of my favorite.
I literally was gonna go the exact opposite. Every one of my favorite plays that I've ever played in the NBA has been to somebody like throwing the lob when we were playing against the Pistons to D Rose.
Oh my God!
Or throwing the lob to D Rose when we were playing at the Garden, or playing at home, or throwing a pass to Russell Westbrook, or throwing a one more to Carmelo Anthony playing in the Garden. Like it's so many plays that I remember playing in Toronto on a fast break. They throw it to me and I was able to dump it back to Joakim for a dunk. Like making a play for somebody else to have them success, that got me going because just the way the basketball gods work is, I could have shot the shot, but I passed up a good shot to get a better shot.
And you were an underrated passer. You were one of the better passers on that bench mob team. CJ.
I was going to ask on that too. Yeah, I was going to ask you that. You did play some point guard at Arkansas, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
I did. So it's really funny story because I used to complain about it all the time. Like, Coach, why you make me play the point guard? I hate when the little guards are guarding me because then I got to play booty ball and bump them down the court and move a little butt out the way. Move out the way. You're not going to see the ball move. And so I was like, I hate that. I just want to turn, get it, and go and play like fluid and make plays off the fly. That's how I played my whole life. Well, he was like, hey, it's going to help you in the long run. To be able to say you're a point four where you play 1, 2, and 3 and some to 4, it'll help you if you're trying to get to the next level. I said, okay, cool. Well, when I broke my arm, it basically forced me to be left-handed because I wasn't fit to put the basketball down. So it allowed me to be able to play with both hands, make plays with both hands, pass with both hands. And my college roommate, Dontel Jefferson, him and Coach Stan Heath, who's now at Eastern Michigan, was
head coach at Eastern Michigan. He was at Michigan State. That's my guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Him and Coach Heath got into it. And our starting point guard got benched. And so they were like, Ronnie, you're playing the one. And I'm like, wait, what? But little did I know, fast forward, I get drafted by Utah. And the main reason is because in that offense, you can dribble the wing out, hand it off to him, and now that wing becomes the point guard, and you can initiate the offense. Well, to me, that was super easy because I've been doing it in college. I was doing it in high school. To me, it allowed me to stay in the league for multiple years because I can not only score the basketball, I can not only defend, but I could also set the table and make plays for my teammates, which I enjoy doing the most.
Absolutely. He was good at it, brother. Like I said, you're one of our favorite Bulls. Glad you came back and retired as a Bull.
Yeah, thank God.
We definitely love that.
Thank you.
That bench mob was something so fierce, something so serious, man. Like, I haven't seen anything like that, like, ever. Like, even as great as our
realize how important
because and when I say when you all came, because you started some games too when Luau was dealing with what he was dealing with. Didn't miss a beat. Didn't miss a beat. So we thank you for that, Ronnie. Like, because, man, like I told you, we are desperate for some type of change in Chicago sports. Like, we need a home run hitter or a scoring champion with a 4,000-yard pass or something. Like, we need something.
I feel you, man. And that mentality that you just said, though, is kind of crazy. Because, like y'all said, Tibbs' mentality was, hey, what's the next man up? And whoever was down, we filled in, and we knew that we had the support of everybody had our back. Everybody on the staff had our back. We knew that they wanted us to do well. Honestly, we knew the guys were out. We wanted them to have a speedy recovery. We knew that we couldn't let go of the rope and let everything go to crap. That we had to, hold the course. And, if it was D Rose or Luau or Booz, Joakim, CJ Watson, whoever it was, if they missed a game, that next guy up had to come up and contribute just as much as they did. Now, granted, it's hard to fill D Rose's shoes, but they try to do it by committee by Mike James and CJ Watson.
They did pretty good.
Really good.
They did pretty good,
What was
but
my man from
unfortunately, you weren't
Tennessee?
D Rose.
CJ
No, not
Watson.
Tennessee, Texas. Right. CJ was DJ Augustine even came in.
Yeah, he hit some big threes, DJ Augustine.
Huge three,
And Nate Robinson too, man. Like
I
Nate
I
Robinson.
just wish you all could have stayed together. Because I knew why you went to New York. I got it. I understood. But I just wish, because when I tell you we was on the precipice, if Derek doesn't get hurt that next season, if they say what they say, if was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. Well, damn it, let me get drunk, because I loved what we were doing as a team in Chicago. I loved what Tibbs was preaching to you guys. You guys never missed a beat, never missed a step. And it's hard to follow number 23. We already know that.
Absolutely.
But for you all to come in and did what you all did, because I'm not a fan of like super team up, but we had some boys. We had some guys. And
I'll put it to you like this: it took a fucking super team to beat you guys.
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely.
And you weren't
and
going
some favorable referee calls, because I'm like, you sneezed on LeBron and all them comments. Come on, man.
Those superstar calls, man.
I've never seen a 6'8", 260-pound guy fall like that before.
No, Flop City.
We wouldn't, and we were like when we did foul, we wasn't even fouling that hard for it to be that.
Right. He's
like, I touched him, but I didn't touch him that hard though. Like I barely touched him. So
yeah, we were talking about that on our last podcast too. Like saying, like I sometimes wish, because it was during your guys' time where they started fining people for flops, didn't they?
Yeah.
I wish they'd start doing that again, because
he didn't get fined.
It is no, not I think Omer Sheik got fined once on the Bulls, didn't he? I think he was the only one who got fined once, but he never did it again after that.
But that's that old Vlade Divac rule that just
Vlade started that.
It went away and then it came back miraculously. But so what is your take, Ronnie? What is your take on the state of basketball today? Because some of us, 80s, 90s ball, we looking at, more high-powered offense, and then we looking at the physicality and everything. Do you think, I'm a different type of guy too. I play.
That was one of the questions too.
But I miss the physicality. I don't need to shoot 93
one thing
a game.
I'm not gonna do. One thing I'm not gonna do is say, "Oh man, this guy from the '80s couldn't play in the 90s. The guy from the 90s couldn't play in 2000. The 2000s could play now. Like, you got to put some respect on everybody's name in the eras. Like,
absolutely,
100%. That's why there should be GOATs of each era.
And so, like, I like where the direction the game of basketball is. To me, like, the game is evolving and players are adapting. Like how many times did you see like a guy in the Joker's size that skillful? Like or a Kevin Durant. I mean, Kevin Durant is a legit 7-footer. How many 7-footers have you seen really move like that? Like that skillful, handling the basketball, shooting, be able to score at all 3 levels, getting to the rack, mid-range, 3-pointer, and if you foul them, shooting 90 from the free throw line, you don't see
can't
that.
stop that person.
Or guys that are skillful enough, like Steph or Clay, to you're more surprised. Like, in today's basketball, I'm more surprised when Steph misses a shot. I'm like, what the fuck?
It's like, oh my God, you missed.
or Clay misses an open 3. You're like, whoa. What's going on? Clay and Steph misses a wide open 3. Like, they're so efficient and they work on their craft so much that you think every time it leaves their hands, it's going in the basket. Do I wish they would allow it to be a little bit more physical? Yeah, because I think some of the times the game is not as fluid because they stop the game because of flops or they're reviewing and they get flagrant fouls and there's a lot of free throws, and just let the game flow. And okay, you get fouled, you put them on their head, but that's what you're supposed to do. Like, I was raised that there's not a layup rule, so you're going down the lane.
Yes.
Like, you put them on their butt, make them go to the free throw line, earn it, knock down 2, and you keep on going.
And it was a common
pretty much a
foul.
guaranteed.
It was not a flagrant. It was a common foul.
A common flagrant foul.
You don't have to worry about it going to review and shit.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I wish would change a little bit. But as far as like the skill set, like how the game is played, I love it. I love that more players in the 3, 4, and 5 are more skillful. Where they're like, you're seeing a lot of more like DHOs, dribble handoffs, reverse dribble handoffs. A lot of pick and pop guys that are catching it for 3s. A lot of guys that can catch it in the post but can face up and go to work. Guys can have mid-ranges or high post jump shots. Like, back then it was like a delicacy, like to a guy to have moves in the post, working pick and pop to the elbow, working pick and pop to the 3. Now you're having more and more like you have your typical post as they're expected to be able to knock down a 3. And I love that because that means the game is evolving. People's skill set is adapting and they're improving. They're not being complacent and staying where they are. They're like, hey, okay, what do I need to add to my game this offseason? Okay, I need to work on my ball handling, my passing, my shooting. Okay, let me work on my 3 ball. Let me work on my free throws. So you're adapting, you're evolving, and you're making the game as a whole better. I just needed the refs to clean it up just a little bit. And I know it's supposed to be entertainment, but it's still basketball, it's still a physical sport. You're still allowed to put somebody on their ass without being a flagrant 1 or flagrant 2. You're allowed to chirp at the refs. You're allowed to chirp back at the players without it being an immediate technical. That's
yes.
Like having passion and being in the heat of the moment. Like nobody can be in the heat of the moment and competing at a high level, and then a bad call, and then expect them not to say anything. Like, absolutely. No, I'm going to react because I think that was a bad call. Like, and I get it. That's why they have reviews now, is to hold the refs accountable. But it slows the game down. And
but that's only them last 2 minutes, right? Like,
yeah.
At least they did that, though. At least they did that.
But don't you feel like? Do you feel? Because I'm that 90s. I played in the 90s and in the early 2000s. But don't you feel they shoot just a little too many 3s? Like, sometimes I feel like. I saw a game, I think it was Houston versus Minnesota, and it was like 76 total 3s taken. I was like, are we at the 3-point contest? And all, like, what's going on?
To me, you gotta, we always say KYP, know your personnel.
Right.
If you're not shooting 40% from the 3-point line,
don't be shooting those 3s.
Don't be shooting 3s unless it's the corner 3s where your percentage is a little bit higher.
The PJ Tucker rule.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So you got a lot of guys and a lot of teams that are thinking, hey, we're going to do it analytically and we're going to just do what the Warriors do. Well, you can't do what the Warriors do unless you're the freaking Warriors, because not only do they shoot at a high clip, the movement of the ball, the movement of the players are so efficient. Like there's some places where there's only 1 or 2 dribbles before a shot, meaning they're passing and moving out the basketball. And that's more to me like 70s, 80s, and 90s basketball, passing and moving out the basketball instead of standing and watching ISO basketball. So they lose the concept of why the Warriors are good. They're good because they're efficient offensively. They pass and move the basketball, and they get really good shots offensively. But then they also defend their butts off, and they communicate, they rotate, they help, and they're their brother's keeper on the defensive end. And teams are not mirroring what they're doing. They might be like, oh, we're going to shoot the same amount of threes, but they're not passing and cutting and moving out the basketball. And they're for sure as hell not defending like they're doing because
that's why they're winning. They're winning because teams are trying to beat them at what they're fucking great at, and that's just not going to happen. You're not going to beat the team at what they're great
at. That's exactly why Boston, or that's exactly why Golden State won the finals this year.
But they also haven't. They also haven't abandoned. They also haven't abandoned the mid range because I've seen quite a few times.
DeMar DeRozan.
Quick, I'm talking about the Warriors specifically. Yeah. I've seen Steph a lot of times dribble, up fake one dribble and take the mid range. Same with Clay. Wiggins lived at the mid range. Like it's not a like people say that it's such a bad shot.
DeMar DeRozan is a perfect example of why it's not a lost art. He should have got a lot of MVP votes. He had a phenomenal year with Chicago. No doubt in my mind he's going to continue to have more productive years than he did this year. But he was the mid-range god. Like literally his shot fake one dribble or his shimmy shake fade. Every time he got it.
He'll do that over and over again and still make
every time he shoots, I'm like, oh, that's a bucket. Because he works on it and it looks good every time it releases from his hands.
Yeah, definitely. Hey, Ronnie, before you get up out of here, man, what's some of the favorite spots that you used to eat at or used to hang out at your time here in Chicago?
Man, I like to eat. So I went everywhere. I tried every place one time. I like Gibson Steakhouse. I walked across the street to the Italian place. I walked next door to the oyster bar that they had. I went to
Hugo's Frog Bar, Tavern on Rush.
Yeah, that's where he was at.
I went Chicago Steakhouse. I went all over. I literally was like, hey, like me as a person, like I want to go explore Chicago. I want to go try like the local spots. Let me go to the places that are the tourist spots. But I didn't really care. I was open to eat anything. I even ate a Chicago style hot dog, and I was like, yo, eat hot dog. I went to
the bad reception there.
Yeah, you're breaking up a little bit.
Oh, sorry. It was like it was a restaurant that was downtown. It was like Ed the they were like me
Ed the Bubbies where they cussed at you.
Yeah, Ed kind of caught me off guard. I was like, hold on. Like, what'd you say? They were like, oh, okay. I get it now. Like, where I'm from, at least you have Southern hospitality. But if you step wrong or you don't come correct, it's like, yo, hold on. Like, I'm gonna pull your car. Like, what you talking about? Like, what you trying to do? But they were like, no, what we do here. I'm like, oh, okay. But like, I literally wanted to try all the places. I wanted to go to different places that local people went to, because I feel like if you're in a city that embraces you, you got to try the places. So, and a lot of people were like, you got to pick between Lou Malnati's pizza.
I was gonna say,
there it is. There's right there.
I'm like,
a big question right there.
I like pizza. I like to go to both of them. They're like, nah, you can't go to both. I'm like, nah, I'm gonna go to both. and like, I like one of the places I love. I was like, being from the South, I love Harold's Chicken. I love Harold's Chicken with the sauce on. I was like, bro,
bring me some Harold's Chicken.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, I can eat, like, my family come in town. I'm like, yeah, we can eat this like every other day. Like, this is
every single person we've had on here said Harold's Chicken.
Yeah, I love it. You know what I'm saying? And so like, to me, like the fans, the people in the city, like it's second to none. Like they show so much love, and like, it's so much history there. And so I loved every second I was there in Chicago. Wouldn't change it for the world. Wish I still had some young legs to still play, a couple pounds lighter. But, I love watching the game of basketball, love watching the Bulls, love watching the NBA, and I really appreciate you guys having me on your show. And I appreciate y'all
Man,
taking
thank
time.
you so much. We appreciate this more than you know, man. We got a lot
Hey,
of love.
anytime you on the shot, baby, link up with us. We go get some Heralds, damn it.
I will come out there and get some Heralds with all you guys.
I need to come back and check it out, man. I love Heralds for sure.
Yeah, you got a lot of love here in the shot still, Ronnie. So, hopefully, during the Bull, I know it's kind of coincides with Arkansas season, but if you get a little downtime, we'd love to have you back during the Bull season because we got some exciting stuff to talk about coming up soon, with the draft picks and Ball coming back healthy.
Anytime you want to talk basketball, man, reach out to me. I'd love to come on your show again and talk basketball, college, hoops, whatever it is. Man, it's always good to be around good people, man. Y'all some good people, and I really do appreciate you guys having me.
Man,
happy to have you on, man.
Hey, Coach, good luck in the season, baby.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll
be rooting for you unless they're playing my Irish.
Thank you, man.
My Irish sucked actually this year, don't they? Yeah.
No Razorbacks.
Love. All right, fellas.
Take care, man.
All right, peace.
Hey, man, that was great.
Awesome, man. There's the same energy is on here on the podcast than he does on the freaking court, man.
Yeah.
The same style energy.
Yeah, that was great, man. Hey, things. That was great, man. I mean, it's actually good talking to one of the guys, one of the bench mob players.
Absolutely.
You can tell by just talking to him that he is a very humble young man, So that's one thing that I do love about it, like how humble he was, how he talking about how he loved his time here in the Shy and how second to none, And then, like I told him, by you giving your all, the city embraces that. That's one thing about Chicago. We love people that leave it all out there, whether it's on the field, on the court, on the ice rink. It doesn't matter. You show us that you giving your all. Chicago will love and embrace you because that's the type of city we are. That's the type of city
100%.
we are. So, yeah, definitely. Well, my Sox won. Damn it! Finally.
Oh, wait, congratulations to the Sox. Is that 4 series in a row where they lost the first 2 and then won the last one?
Yeah, they gonna have to do, man. It's time for TLR to go.
Man.
Yeah, he has to go, man.
You need to make a change if you want this season to turn around, and that's got to be the big change you make.
Yeah, it definitely does, man.
I'm looking like this. If you don't go get Ozzy, hell, call Joe Madden. Do something.
Man, shit, bring Ozzy back.
Joe Madden.
They got all the Dominicans, the Hispanic brothers over there, man. Hey, bring another Hispanic fire guy. They need a fiery guy up in their locker room.
And that is Ozzy. Ozzy is a fiery guy too, though.
Yeah.
But I still think Kenny Williams and Ozzie Guillen just don't see eye to eye.
No, they don't. Oh, hell no, they don't.
Still there. My number one pick, hands down, would be Ozzy. But here's another one for you. The Phillies fired Girardi. Joe Girardi's out there open right now. I mean, he's not 147 like our coach is, who can barely walk without.
I would prefer Ozzy.
I would prefer Ozzy over him too.
Him and Kenny, they don't get along, but shit, y'all ain't got to speak to each other. Hell, there's plenty of players that don't get along.
Now remember, they moved Kenny to like upper. He's like the president now.
Yeah, he's like the vice president.
He's still the GM though. I think he's like president.
I thought Rick Hahn was the GM.
Is Hahn taking over that?
Rick Hahn is the GM. Kenny is of course, the vice president of baseball operations.
Yes. So something's got to give because you've got way too much talent on this team.
Way too much.
Injuries aside, but you have way too much talent to be middling at 500.
They're not even 500. They're 2 games below 500 right now, I think.
Like 42 and 44, right?
Yeah, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, some shit like that.
And that's why I say, when we sit up here and we talk and we look at all the other cities and we say every now and again, Chicago get a sprinkle. We'll get some Blackhawks championships. We'll get a Bears Super Bowl appearance. We'll get some false love from the Sox. We'll have some false love from the Cubs. But when do we ever have that sustained run like the Yankees, the Red Sox, Dodgers? When do we ever get that sustained run?
We
I
got
can't
dumbass
recall.
front office people.
But I'm saying I can't recall in the last 20 years.
Like those 90s Bulls, I think were the last ones who made consistent runs. I mean, I guess you can say the Blackhawks 3 and 6 years, but that's only 6 years. They should have had more after those 6 years.
And maybe it might have been those Derrick Rose Bulls because I think they made
That was only 3 years.
They made runs though, yeah.
That was only 3 years. They made runs.
Yeah, they had 3 great years. So
It was
I mean,
never anything sustained.
But again, like they could have. They could have had that.
How many years did they make it to the playoffs though? They made it to the playoffs, but how many years consecutive?
They made it to the playoffs.
Well, under Tibbs, they only didn't make it their last year. I thought under Tibbs.
Huh?
Yeah, I think it was 5 straight years the Bulls.
They only didn't make it Tibbs last year.
Well, actually, there might have been a lot more of that because
it was more because even when Derrick got hurt, they still made the playoffs.
Yeah,
even when we had they only didn't make it Tibbs last year.
Oh yeah, so what's that? 5 years? That was.
But what I'm saying, sustained success. I'm looking at what Golden State does. I'm looking at what Miami did with LeBron. I'm looking at what the Buffalo Bills did in the early 90s. I'm talking about look what
you talking about guys going to the fucking championship years and years.
Or at least the Eastern, like even this current Boston team with Jason Tatum. They've been to 3 Eastern Conference Finals since his rookie year.
Now they've been to 3, only 2.
Been to 3 because remember this year they just went to 1.
Yeah, but the only time they went to 1 was the other year when they didn't have Kyrie.
No, they lost to LeBron and then they lost to Milwaukee, right?
Huh?
They lost to LeBron, Jason Tatum's rookie year. They went 7 games. They lost to, I want to say 2 years ago. Didn't they lose to Milwaukee?
Nah, they ain't go 2 years ago. I don't think, nah.
But we have to look at that because I think they went 3 to the Eastern Conference Finals 3 years with that group they have now. But what I'm saying is this. We'll have a certain coach go 12-4. Then all of a sudden it was like fool's gold. Then you have nothing.
Yeah.
The last time we had any sustained success with the Bears had to be the Lovey years. Now, it wasn't playoffs every single year. It was like playoffs.
It was always competing.
Super Bowl, off playoffs, off playoffs, off playoffs, 10-6, fired. But where is our sustained success in Chicago sports? If people don't want to come here, we need to make it so they want to come here.
I don't think it's that people don't want to come here. I think it's that we got dumbass front office people that don't know what the hell they're doing. And that starts
look what Scott
higher than the front office. It starts from ownership because they're the ones that's hiring the fucking front office.
Look what Skylark just said. He just basically summed everything up and put a nice little bow on it.
Yeah.
The history of Chicago sports goes way back from the beginning of MLB, NFL, NHL, and believe it or not, basketball like the Chicago Stallions for the Bulls. We've always been in the forefront of innovation. We've always been there where we were charter franchises, original 6, creators, whatever. And what do we really have to show for it? That much.
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
we all love our
Chicago dumbass. You got dumbass owners, man.
We always love our
First
Chicago.
of all, you got one of the cheapest owners in sports in Jerry Reisendorf. This fool sits up there and he sends his little cronies out there talk about, oh yeah, we're gonna spend money. Jerry, look here. You've been in Chicago sports, owning for Chicago sports for over 20 years. You're not fooling any fans. We all know you's a cheap ass, okay? So quit coming out here, sending your cronies out here talking about how you going to spend money on the Bulls if they got a championship team. How you going to spend money on the White Sox if they got a championship team. You're a cheap ass, Jerry. If anybody hasn't said it, I'm going to say it. You're a cheap ass, Jerry. You don't like fucking spending money. Your little cheap ass will find whatever way it can to cut some fucking corners. Spend some fucking money. We've gone and made you over a fucking billionaire in your entire life. Spend some fucking money and start winning some goddamn championships around here again.
I agree.
You ain't won one since what? 2005 with the White Sox? That's the last time you won.
Remember, that's the same owner that said he would trade all 6 of the Bulls championships for one
more White Sox championship.
Hey, at this particular point in time, would you believe anything he says?
With his ass saying that he should have sold the
owner.
Bulls.
Oh yeah, I would go over the luxury tax if we can win a championship. Oh, I'll sit up here and spend some more money if I think that we can sit up there and win a championship. Their highest paid player in Chicago White Sox history is Grandal. And Grandal's contract is nowhere near as close to these guys are getting now. That just shows you what type of cheap ass fucking owner you got.
The only one who's not playing right now in the White Sox, Grandal.
Yeah, he's on his way back.
He should be, yeah.
And he wouldn't even give my man Frank Thomas that.
But you know something? I heard somebody else has a rent that they want to go through, so maybe we should.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that. All right.
Yeah. No,
All right, let's flip it to a little bit. Talk some Tank's topics here. All right, Chicago Blackhawks. They officially announced on draft day that they're in a full rebuild. They are throwing in a 5-year plan on this rebuild. Didn't make a lot of people happy. I mean, it is what it is. You're rebuilding. Don't expect Patrick Kane and Jonathan Toews and all those elite players to be here. They're probably all going to get traded because they don't want to go through a rebuild. They don't deserve to go through a rebuild. They're already 33 years old. Let them go try to get a championship elsewhere. But the thing that will bring up like Family Guy related that really grinds my gears. All right, I won't even say it like that. What pisses me the F off is that we had a 24-year-old back-to-back 40-goal scorer on our team that you could have easily rebuilt a roster around and made him your number one guy and build around it. He said he wanted to stay. He said he would have took less money to stay. They traded him to the Ottawa Senators for a first-round pick, a second-round pick, and a third-round pick. And to the people who don't know about hockey, back-to-back 40 fucking goal scorer at the age of 24 years old, and that's all you got for him. All right, mid-season last year, we traded a second-round role-playing center to the Tampa Bay Lightning and got 2 first-round draft picks for him. The guy never scored more than 10 goals in the NHL, and you got 2 first-round picks for him. That is all you can get for Alex DeBrincat. That was the first big move that our new GM made, and he literally deserves to get slapped in his fucking face for it.
Oh, wow.
Because that is awful. I would have rather him stayed. If you were only going to get 3 picks. It was a first round this year, a second round this year, and a third round for next year. You should have easily gotten 2 first rounds, 2 second rounds, and the Ottawa Senators are the deepest team within the top 50 of AHL prospects on their team. You should have went out and got an elite up-and-coming defenseman to try to rebuild around as well. That was just a wrong move, and the one thing that I can say to the Blackhawks front office right now is this.
You're all a bunch of fucking assholes.
That's how I feel right now. And I'm saying this now. I'm not against them trading DeBrincat. I'm not against them going through a full rebuild. But that's all you got for him? Shame on you. We'll just end it like that. Shame on you.
Just random thought, Frank, when I actually was trying to get in hockey. What happened to that kid, Taro Teravainen, that was supposed to be like the next best thing? Do we still have him?
No, they gave up on him. They traded him. I believe he went to the Carolina Hurricanes, and he's one of their top 3 best players.
Par for the course, right?
Yeah. He's a very damn good player, and he's up and coming. This DeBrincat. I mean, look, Artemi Panarin, another great example. He pissed off Patrick Kane so much when they traded Artemi Panarin, who was another back-to-back 40-goal scorer at the age of 24.
Wow.
And they traded him to the New York Rangers. He is now one of the best players in the NHL. Like they are making, they are finding. Kudos to their general manager team because they didn't do a damn thing. Their scouting team to finding these elite players, but then they give them up.
So basically, what we're saying is, go Chicago Sky. That's all we got.
Yeah. Yeah,
I think we should fire. I think we should get rid of every motherfucking owner in Chicago that owns a professional fucking sports team. Get rid of them all. Sell your squads. What the fuck, folk? You guys going to make billions of dollars. Sell them. We don't need you here, nor do we want your ass here because you idiots obviously don't know how to run a fucking business. Do not know how to make your sports fans that make your dumb asses fucking rich. You don't know how to sit up there and, give them something to sit up there and spend and want to spend more money on. You don't.
Skylight, the answer to that is hell to the yeah.
And Skylark, to follow up, yes, that is a hell
that
to the yes. But then at the same time, he had a lot of beef with the Bears organization or the Bulls organization.
I don't know about that one.
But I think that was also soft coaching, soft players.
Well,
Jimmy Butler was that hard.
People got to realize Jimmy was starting to be a fucking cancer, man.
No, that's not true. No. That's not true.
Yeah, he was beefing with everybody. He was starting to beef with everybody.
That's not true. He fell out of favor.
Players in Miami now.
He fell out of favor when he made the comment about not being coached hard like Tibbs used to be.
Yeah.
Paxson and Gar Forman. I'm sorry, is it Gar Forman? Yeah, Gar Forman. They did not like that.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted
their marshmallows.
There you go. And they didn't want to be questioned about who they brought in as the coach.
Hold on. So you don't believe that all that rumors that was going around about Team Derek and Team Jimmy?
At that point in time, no.
Yeah, I don't think it was at that point in time. No.
Not at that point.
I mean, the thing was this, man. I like Jimmy. I don't think Jimmy was a guy that you can build a championship team around. It's just that simple. I don't think that you can win a championship with Jimmy as the head dog. I'm sorry. I don't. I think at that time the Bulls needed to move on.
I agree.
Try to sit up there and get something for him, which is what they did. And
I mean, it gave us Zach LaVine, but at this point in time, I can say that I've watched Jimmy Butler go to 2 Eastern Conference Finals and a championship.
Yeah, this is what I'm sitting up there saying. The reason why Jimmy Butler was able to do that is because they built a fucking team around him.
And I agree with that.
Well, that was the question.
You think this same Bulls organization would have been able to build a team around Jimmy? Fuck no.
That was the question. That was the question Skylark asked.
That was the question. Would you feel that they should have built a team around Jimmy Butler? So you see what happens when you build a team around them. They do have some sort of success.
And that's the thing. It's not even just the team, though. I mean, the organization.
I mean, to tell you the truth,
all of them are
that Miami team. I have to get more so of that to fucking Pat Riley. Like a lot of times, we as media, we as fans, we get caught up in the moment.
Mm-hmm.
We really do, because I remember just the series prior to Boston going to Golden State, everybody was sitting up there saying Jason Tatum is a fucking superstar. I don't think Jason Tatum is a superstar. Not yet. I think he's getting close there, but they were already pronouncing him, Jason Tatum's a fucking superstar. And then he sits up there and shits the bed against Golden State. And now you don't hear that too much. And that's what happens. A lot of times people get caught up in the moment. I like Jimmy. I do. I don't think Jimmy's a fucking superstar. I think Jimmy's a star. I don't think that you can win a championship as Jimmy as the head dog. No, not at all.
So I'll say this to that. What they expected Kyle Lowry to give you in a vacuum or lightning in a bottle, that would have made Jimmy, Kyle, and Bam. That was what they were going for.
Well, I would see like this. They don't pay attention then, because one thing that I have noticed is that Kyle Lowry really doesn't come to play in the playoffs. And
the one time he did,
there's a current Chicago Bulls player that is known for doing that too. And his name is DeMar DeRozan.
Well,
DeMar DeRozan numbers dip considerably come playoff time. Mm-hmm. His efficiency and his points per game dip when it comes playoff time. Hence why he couldn't get out in Toronto. Hence, who was his teammate in Toronto?
Kyle, I was just getting to that. But that's what I'm saying. So if you know you've got a bunch of 1B, 2A guys, then you need to put some 1B guys together or with a 1A guy. So I look at what Toronto did. with Kyle Lowry, with Kawhi Leonard, with Pascal Siakam in that year that they won. Now, I know they have some fortuitous goes around and everything like that. They, obviously if Kevin Durant and Klay Thompson were healthy, they probably wouldn't have won. We can pretty much almost guarantee
it. Yeah, you pretty much guaranteed. I mean, you need
But they won. You play who you play, they won.
Yeah.
Now, the funny part is this. We just did the same thing we're condemning Miami about with Kyle Lowry by signing Goran Dragic, trying to catch lightning in a bottle with somebody who just don't have it anymore. We can't keep catching. You know what? It's a lot of young talent that probably deserves a chance, of which you saw the Golden State Warriors give those players chances. But now moving forward, when you have a guy like Goran Dragic taking up a position that could have went to somebody else, how are we really gonna excel? How are we really gonna get over that next hump? Because right now, logically, what do you all have the Bulls rank going into the next season? 4th, 5th, 6th?
Yeah, around the same, 4th or 5th, I'd say.
So what improvement did you make?
That's the thing. Your improvement is all based upon one person.
2 people. 2. And I'll tell you what.
A healthy Lonzo Ball and a Patrick Williams. That is your top 2 most important pieces this year. I mean, Drummond's going to play a huge part in helping them out with that rim protection. I agree with that too.
I think.
But I still feel like you did
No. He's not going to help with the rim protection. He's going to help with the offensive rebounds, of which the Bulls, what were they, Chris, 23rd or 6th or something like that? They were real low in offensive rebounding. But rim protection, he gives you that same 1.2 blocks that Brooks gives you. He gets you that lucky, I blocked the ball. He's not a rim protector. But what you do
Andre Drummond,
yeah.
Both average the same amount of blocks.
Correct.
One fucking block a game.
Now, what you will see that will be telling, right, is if you see a lineup where you see Vooch moves over to the 4 and Andre Drummond is eating up a lot of that 5 position, that puts P. Will at that 7th or 8th man.
But do we have trust in our head coach to do that? Because I don't know.
I personally don't have any trust in Billy Donovan because he's never proven that he's a good NBA coach.
Agreed. Because that is what I feel he should have done more often with Tristan Thompson. He did not do that. It didn't happen. When you were going up against this tall, big Miami Heat team and Bucks team, all of them who were just pounding you down low all day, why didn't you do that versus those teams? He did that one game, and I believe it was versus the Bucks, and that was the second half game where they came back from a 24-point deficit, got it down to 4, and then they pulled Tristan Thompson, and they got smoked in the last 2 minutes of the game.
Well, that's the Chris Middleton game where he had like 16 points in the last 8 minutes or something crazy like that.
Yeah.
No. Anytime I'm going to say this to any fan that thinks that Kevin Durant possibly coming here,
it's not
realistic. It's not going to happen, Smalls.
So, here's the thing.
Kevin Durant's not getting traded.
He's not coming here.
He's staying with the Nets.
He's not coming here for what we want to give up because the Nets want 2 All-Stars. Now, do we have 2 All-Stars?
The 2 All-Stars ain't just the fucking beginning of
2 All-Stars and 5 first-round draft.
You know something? You know what I tell Brooklyn?
Blame Minnesota.
Kiss my left hand right ass.
Gobert fucked us with this.
Blame Minnesota because 5 picks for Rudy Gobert
this up for everybody.
Is
like. But that's what I'm talking about. You guys,
they made an offer to your LA Lakers. Did you see that offer? They wanted LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and 5 first-round draft picks
for Kevin Durant. It's going to be Westbrook and Durant.
Yeah. What do you think they're doing? That's why I said it's not realistic. He's not going to get moved. All Brooklyn is doing is Brooklyn's going to sit up and say he wants to move. Yeah, sure. Kevin, we're going to try to move you.
But they're appeasing his
dumbest fucking trade ever. And if some idiot fucking GM takes this damn job, takes this fucking trade, we're going to milk him for everything we got. Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye, Kevin. Now we got guys, 5 first-round picks and we got 2 all-stars or 2 very good players for Kevin Durant. That's what they're going to do. Otherwise, that shit's not going to happen. No fucking GM is going to make that fucking trade.
No,
But they're
and then
going to fucking sit out there and be fired either that day or that following year.
There's a laundry list of players because of what's known as the Derrick Rose clause that they can't even trade for.
Mm-hmm.
They can't even trade. So, like, if they trade to Golden State, they're not getting Wiggins because Wiggins can't because of Ben Simmons. Yeah. Because of Ben Simmons, you can't trade for Wiggins.
And it's the same here with Patrick Williams.
He's not getting moved. I've been telling people that for the longest. He's not.
It's the same here with PW. Like every team is going to want Patrick Williams in a trade. We can't trade him for Devin.
Well, I'll put it to you like this. I don't know what AK is doing. I don't know if he's just stockpiling guards and shit and plans on making some type of big time
That's what I'm hoping.
To get somebody. Because when you got basically 10 guys that can play the 3 to the fucking 1, it's fucking 11. Ridiculous.
You have 11. 11 out of a 15-man roster is a 1 to 3. And I'm including Patrick Williams in there.
And 6 of them are point guards.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
Well, that's going to lead us. That's about our show for today. So we're going to go ahead and get into some goddamn shout-outs. Frank the Tank, go ahead and kick us off, man.
All right. Shout-outs. Skylark, you were commenting like crazy today, man. Damn. So kudos with that one. Brandon chimed in, did a great job as well. TJ Flanagan. Is this a new guy for me?
So it's new for you. I know TJ very well, and let me say this, TJ, you're right. You are dragging Felicio. I know your game. I know how you play. You 6'9", 6'10". Yeah, you dragging Felicio for sure.
So yeah, we had Anthony Walker was on fire earlier.
My guy,
he had some great comments and everything as well.
Yeah,
always got to give a shout out to this lovely lady. That was cold, Frank. What was cold? When I was dissing the White Sox and how shitty that they were playing? Is that But still love you. Always happy to have you on here. You guys, great podcast. Ronnie Brewer, man. God, I never thought I'd notice that he had the same amount of energy on a podcast than he would as on the court because, man, he was awesome. Great guest. Always nice here. I love the story on his shooting thing. That's crazy right there.
Makes sense, right?
It does. It does. That was really cool to hear. But other than that, hey, on to the next one.
JB.
So it's me. So I'm going to do it like this, man. Shout out to Ronnie Brewer. Man, love talking with that guy. Thanks, moms. Appreciate you. Shout out to that. Like you said, Frank, again, shout out to my mom. Love you, Mom. Thank you. You're my P1. Always there supporting. But back to Ronnie Brewer, that energy, like you said, Frank, the knowledge, the willingness to just open up and speak basketball. Not even just about his accolades, because like I said, I remember Ronnie Brewer. Remember Chris with the headband of Arkansas? Understand he doing work. We remember Ronnie Brewer. We was looking at Ronnie Brewer like, man, dude is the truth, you know? So, it's just a pleasure to have him on. And more importantly, somebody that was very instrumental in some success that we just alluded to with Chicago sports. You know what I'm saying? To have somebody from the bench mob on there, that we sat up there and watched and had so much hope and promise for, and he left everything on the court. Shout out to that brother. I hope we have him on again during the Bulls season. Shout out to my boy Ant Walker, chiming in with them gems, dropping them. Love that. Skylarking you guys. You guys are on fire. I know sometimes when we start talking Bulls, we have a slight dip. Hey, guys, it's all about Chicago. It's all about Chicago. Come one, come all, it's about Chicago. So keep tuning in. Everything can't just be Bears. We got to talk about our Bulls, our Blackhawks, our White Sox, and our Cubs, and our Chicago Sky. Hell, our Chicago Fire, our Chicago Fury. Anybody in Chicago that's doing things and making noise and getting some representation from the shot.
I don't think the Chicago Fire have won a game in like 3 years.
But you know what, Frank? We're going to promote. Because, damn it, a few years ago, they did get us one of our
They were one of those elite teams that we were actually missing because they were always great.
Absolutely. Hell, the Chicago Wolves can get some love from me.
Oh, yeah, they just won the finals. Yeah, I never even did bring that up, even though that's not the Blackhawks organization, but still, it's a Chicago Wolves team. Good call on that one.
We'll take that. So, just shout out to Chicago guys. Keep supporting, keep subscribing. We're going to keep trying to bring you this hard-hitting, media sessions. As Draymond Green says, the new media, but forget him, I don't care for him. So we're going to keep bringing you our media, and that's Chicago Clubhouse Podcast.
Love to have him on the show, though.
Well, between him and Nick Wright, man, I might lose my job because I'm going at them bums. Yeah, I said it.
Yeah. Okay. Shout out from the JB and from Frank the Tank. Yes, once again, I'd like to shout out to everybody that was in the chat today. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. And also remember to like and subscribe to the Chicago Clubhouse Podcast. Shout out to our sponsors, Tilly's. Shout out to Moore's Beer. Moore's Beer. Shout out to my man. Shout out to Ronnie Brewer. Hey, great interview, bro. Appreciate everything that you did for the city. You know what I'm saying? Bring your lunch pail to work every day, showing unbelievable love and effort here to this city, and that's what we thrive on. That's what we love. Shout out to you. More importantly, hope you have a successful season. I should say Coach Brewer, because he is
Coach Brewer, yes.
So definitely shout out to him. Shout out to you, Frank. Shout out to you, JB. Shout out to John's mom. Hi. Shout out to our man Bullets that was on earlier, all the way from Cali.
The first time I've ever seen Bullets on so early.
I know, right? That's what I said.
That was crazy.
He might have been off today. So thank you, Bullets.
Yeah. Shout out to him. Shout out to the kiddies. I don't have to worry about them being asleep. It's summertime shy, so they good. They can keep their phones for a little while. Shout out to my mom or whatever family that I had watching tonight. Shout out to my girl who I believe is watching this right now, because I think I keep hearing the echo from the bedroom. But
okay.
Shout out to her too. Mwah. And damn, I think that's about it.
That's about it.
I think that's about. So I guess we out.
This has been a Chicago Clubhouse Network production.
What smart ass thing you got to say this time, Phil?
What the fuck can I say? I can get a last cussing word in.